Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Celebratory CTR, baby. Fixing my audio. Where is God now? What up, Rizz Gods? Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It's my second bowl. Oat milk. Is it bussin'? You know it. And it's gonna bust up my my intestines later. I'm gonna be farting a lot. I'm going to be farting a lot. But it's worth it. Let's fix something. Window capture. Here we go. There we go. How do I ask a boy out? Good question. Depends on the context. Rizz's puffs. I just noticed that. I'm so silly. Hello, everyone. It depends on the context, my friend. It depends on the context of who the person is, who you are, what the situation is, you know. How to rizz a baddie even though I'm not where I want to be at. These are very open-ended questions. I feel like I need more specifics to give advice to those questions. But if you're not where you want to be at, why should you date somebody? Why should you ask somebody? Why should you want to go out with somebody? How to eliminate the global power structure? Step 1, implode universe. Step 2, question mark, question mark. Step 3, profit. So, how's everybody doing? How to talk to my dad. Find something that you share in common and discuss it. Discuss it with your father. Something that you both are interested in, but you know, do it in such a way that you don't provoke argument. Just share common bonds. Oh, and your nam. See you. I'll miss you. How's this lighting? Did you guys like the previous lighting more, or is this lighting your speed? What's up, Awa? It's fancy seeing you here, Awa. Very rare. A rare Awa sighting, I would dare say. Do-do-do. Okay. That was a joke, but damn, I appreciated that. Thanks. Oh, well, that's good. I'm bad, can't overcome my fear, and it stopped my transition. Well, it takes time. You're not going to overcome everything in one foul swoop. Fell swoop? You're not going to overcome everything immediately. You're going to have roadblocks. It might be something that takes you 20 years. So just know yourself in the moment and know what's best for you in the moment and try to overcome that. Not overcome that, but try to accept it, actually. Try to accept yourself for who you are. And if that person that you are right now is a person that is just a little too scared and a little bit too anxious to overcome the situation and transition, then that's okay. Everybody has fear. Everybody gets scared sometimes. No matter how tough you are, there's always something that you're scared of that you're not confronting, you know. I'm officially in the tilted glasses era of these glasses. Yeah, you know, here to congratulate on 50K. Oh, Awa. Thank you. New music ideas. In what sense? Like my new music? I mean, I have a very strong fear of needles, and that stopped me in my tracks. I'm assuming you want to be able to get, you know, a procedure done. And it's the fear of needles that's stopping you. There are many people who have overcome their fear of needles. There are many people who haven't, but there are many people who have overcome it. And you could be one of those people. You could be next up. But don't be hard on yourself either way. It's a process. Just figure out what's the best thing you can do for yourself right now. 50K, a Sikh. Is this a new name? Who are you, a Sikh? Dipping though. Work. Y'all have fun. Bye, Awa. Thank you for coming by, Awa. How to get through the depression mess in my room. I can't bring myself to organize it all without getting discouraged. One thing at a time, first of all. Like, that's the ultimate advice for everything, is one thing at a time. But second of all, try to figure out ways that you can motivate yourself to do a particular thing. You know, your brain needs motivation firing. When you're depressed, you're probably very low on that. So you have to go through this process of sort of healthily reintroducing motivation into your brain, I think. Yeah. So for instance, you could get yourself something nice when you do something like, hey, if I put away these things, and I have a big messy room too that I haven't overcome as well. So I completely understand from that standpoint. But if you say, hey, if I do 20 minutes of cleaning, I will buy myself a boba or a cookie or a taco or something. Or I will take a nap, a reward nap. That sounds pretty good right now. I'm pretty sleepy. That can potentially help. A TED Talk called How to Do Laundry When You're Depressed. I'm sure that one of those kinds of exists. How to deal with authoritarian parents that always want to control. Keep yourself safe and slowly but surely establish agency here and there. So similar to how people overcome authoritarian regimes, I guess. You find a way that you build a little bit of money for yourself here. You build a little bit of social life, something here and there. And you just keep it as peaceful as possible with your parents. That's certainly one way to do it. That's probably how I would go about it. You could also do other things, but that's how I would go about it. It's just like, okay, I'll do whatever you say. Make you as happy about me as possible, and then slowly just sort of be like, hey, I made $5 today. I made $6 the next day, Just save things, build up, build up. Maybe make some online friends. Online community could be a really good way to find spaces where you can build your own agency. So talking injections. I already ordered an auto injector, but it takes so long to arrive. And I already feel like my transition went back a little, and it feels horrible. Wish I had a nurse friend. It may be helpful if you could get medical advice for somebody. You know, that's not something that I would be super experienced with. I'm not medical. I'm not a person that knows anything about that really. So in terms of the science and the medical side of that, but in terms of your process, you have to understand like the progress is not linear. Progress goes back and forth. There may be some days where you could make an argument that you've regressed in some way, but those days will pay off in the end. It just at the end of the day is a matter of just going with it. Nothing is for naught. Even the things that you put very, very little time and effort into are not for naught. There's nothing, no time is wasted. It goes somewhere. It turns into something. So just keep putting more and more time into the things that you value and the things that you find good. And if it takes a year, if it takes 5 years, if it takes 10 years, whatever the result might be, just be in that moment right now doing your best, It's my favorite cereal. Are you at the beginning, Emily? Eat the frog. Eat the frog. Sometimes eat the frog is helpful. Hello, people. I just learned. Oh, Emma says, oh, Gray's here. Congrats on the 50K. Thank you. I surpassed my sub count finally. I could never outdo the doer. I'm going to respond to the Q&A questions soon. So I'm letting you guys know that. But I see questions in the chat. I just want to feed y'all a little bit. Hello, people. I just learned what rizz means because we didn't have that word before. Also, Elliot, thank you for being brilliant. Your excellent work in this Q&A. Congratulations on your following. Thank you, SB. So kind. Emma, me and my bestie, the man almost twice my age, I paid to teach me the guitar. You guys wrote a song together. Feeling swaggy. How you doing? Emma, I'm sure that fucking song rocks. I'd be happy to hear it. Do you find ways to apply video research concepts from your videos to your own life? All the time. All the time. I'm always thinking about mental health and stuff like that. Well, anyway, how's your night going? I already have 10 a.m. Your stream is the first thing I started doing when I arrived to my job. Hey, well, hello. Good morning. Hope you're having a good time. It is nighttime over here in New York, so this is like a rare nighttime vibe that you can experience in the morning. But we're gonna kick your day off right. We're gonna kick your day off good. Congrats on 50K, friend. Thank you, Estefany. Te quiero. My friend. How can I resist my intrusive thoughts? I would look that up. Because I'll give you a response, but like I also think that there's probably better advice than I can give you out there from medical professionals. From what I understand, the best thing to do is not to create so much tension and conflict with them. Understand that your thoughts are not you. You are not your thoughts, and your thoughts are not you. Thoughts are things that pass by. Thoughts are the equivalent of rain or wind. They're just things that come up. You can't stop wind. You can't stop rain. You may have days where it just doesn't rain at all. You have to just sort of let them be things that come and pass through your head. Thoughts just pass through your head. And some of those thoughts are going to be unpleasant. And that's okay. It's okay that's happening. It sucks. But it doesn't mean anything about you. It doesn't have anything to do with your personality. It's just, it rained. You understand? So when it rains, bring an umbrella, chill, listen to some jazz, right? There's things you can do to adapt to the scenario. You can't control exactly what happens, but you can control how you react to it, what you make out of it. Congrats on 50K, Elliot. Ara! Love you. Thank you. Congrats on 50K. Where the rizz at? The rizz is right here. Oh. I should have done that. That would have been funnier. Are you a Rizzler? Am I? I don't know. What is one thing that helped you through your depression that you still practice now? Ooh. Exercise. It's so annoying, but it's true. And I've begun to love certain exercise. but it's still a slog a lot of the times to get out of bed and try to exercise. But it's always worth it, especially when you really push yourself and don't just like jog for 2 minutes and then go, I'm tired, and then give up. But even that, it helps to some degree. Every moment helps. How can I stop procrastinating on doing homework? Think about what's stopping you from doing homework and ask yourself if it's really that big of a deal. What's your opinion on esoteric teachings? I mean, the ones that aren't in money ways like a cult. For example, reality transurfing. I have no idea what that is, but it sounds kind of dope. The song is about pirates, sirens, and greed and lust, and I would honestly pay you to listen to it when it's done. Don't pay me. Just send it to me. You're an OG, Emma. You can just send it to me. Oh, it's Grace. Oh, it's Grace. Hi, Grace. I didn't realize that was your name now. I missed your message from before, and you switched it back. You can put it back to a Sikh if you want. These streams are one of the few things that I look forward to every week. I love them. I don't do them every week, so I'm sorry to have let you down in such a way. Didn't know you from New York. Are you a fan of the New York pizza? Am I a fucking fan of New York pizza? You just asked me that? What do you mean? I wouldn't call myself a fan so much as a devotee. You know what I mean? Hi Elliot, everyone. It's 9:17 a.m. on my side of the pond. I'm listening while working too. Everybody's working. Sucks. Well, it's good to see you. It's good to hear from you. I hope you're having a good time over there on that side of the world. Everyone's stream fall like the rain. Fall like the rain. Yeah, Emma's song sounds good. Do you ever regret your time with K-pop? Cafe Alley is like, I wonder what the intention behind that question was. I could picture that question being like a forlorn, heartbroken, because Cafe Alley is an OG. I could picture that being like a forlorn, like, do you ever regret your time with K-pop? I mean, or being like a, do you ever regret your time with K-pop? Like, I don't know what the tone would be. With that said, no, I don't regret anything. Even things that I've done wrong in my life, it's, I regret in the sense that I wish I wouldn't have done them, but I also am appreciative of being able to have those experiences, being able to have experiences work out for the best, like just to make the best out of those experiences. The same thing with K-pop, and I still listen to K-pop sometimes. I still keep up with things sometimes. I like what New Jeans has been doing. But I definitely sort of hit my wall with K-pop where I was like, all right, I'm bored. And that happened like a year after I got into it, frankly. And it's so many fascinating things to study, but music-wise, a lot of it can feel very redundant. Now I haven't seen it. I haven't been keeping up super religiously lately, so it may be way better now. And that's all to say. That's just to speak about K-pop in general. That's not speaking about BTS because my connection with BTS is much deeper. Hello, one rizz, please. Here you go. I'm the Rizzler. Butter Surge is the Rizzler. Oh my goodness. Rizzler sounds like a 1950s candy bar that got banned for giving children sickness. That's me. That's what I am. You're curious. What's your favorite TV series? Good question. The Wire. Hey, I found your channel very recently, and I like a lot of the opinions that you have on some very touchy subject. Very cool, very nice. Thank you, Jam Epics. That's very kind. What was the last movie you watched and why? I started watching, what is it, Strange World, or the new movie from Disney? Like, I watched the first 20 minutes of it yesterday. It seemed cool. Didn't finish it. If you mean full movie, the last full movie I watched, I can't tell you. It doesn't happen very often. Yeah, I don't remember. If I think about it, I'll let you know. Oh, the Boraje. Yeah, I'm excited too, Emma. 50K subs. What up, Moni? Love Moni. I just remember the drama that would come up from time to time. Maybe I was projecting. Oh, the drama was constant. It was constant drama. I'm very not interested in getting involved in drama. Have you tried checking out Dreamcatcher? Oh, I know Dreamcatcher. Yeah, I mean, I liked Scream. I liked a couple of the Dreamcatcher things, but it was never really my thing. I always found that it would still hit on some of the things that I was just kind of not super interested in with K-pop in terms of like music video visuals or just like stylizations that you get kind of, you know, even though the genre was different and a lot of the cool, there was a lot of cool like sonic things that they were doing. Just like that level, that scale of production and sheen. I hate using that term because it's very cliche to use and talk about K-pop, but like the level of production and orientation and like the quirkiness that like the patterns of girl group songwriting is like, I don't know, it's very detectable to me in K-pop and boy group songwriting too. I've done this exercise before on streams long times ago where I would like literally just improvise K-pop songs off the top of my head. Like it's pretty repetitive. That's why I like New Jeans a lot, because they, you know, even though the genre isn't like something super completely different, the vibe is just very like the approach is just very different for a K-pop song. You don't get like the same like types of. Anyway, we're not here to talk about K-pop. Strange World seemed very wholesome. Do you think most motivational content is without basis and serves to confuse people more than help them? I think everybody has their thing that motivates them, and it's good to have motivation content to some extent, but a lot of it is just very repeated, you know, capitalist tropes. If you're a Weber person, like Protestant work ethic tropes and things like that. Police in the background. Yeah, welcome to New York City. Welcome to New York City. What's up, Julian? Get okay. Why do people say rizz so much? It's one of those things that becomes a meme. Kari, what's up? Thank you so much, and it's good to see you again. I always love Kari. I've always loved seeing Kari. Manifesting is like when something shows up, is something you can see like a symptom. Those motivational studios and self-help content always put me into Discord. They can be quite contradictory. I've been putting off a Ditto ukulele cover for a month now. It's bad out here. Yeah, the Ditto covers are out here. I saw that this one singer did one that was really dope. Anyway, we are 23 minutes into the thing. I got to start getting into the Q&As that were submitted. Thank you all for submitting Q&A. Well, thank you all for submitting questions in the chat. I will still be reading the chat, but I'm going to also be reading the questions that were given to me on this post from 2 days ago, where I was anticipating the 50K subs and this stream. With that said, let's answer some fucking questions, guys. Let's go. Well, first, Evelyn, I don't really have an opinion about people not standing during the Pledge of Allegiance. It just is, I don't really care much about the Pledge of Allegiance, but I also don't care to like say much about it. I also think I respect people for making a political stand when necessary. And yes, I am Dominican. Que lo fucking que loco. I love CD too. Can we ask what borough? Queens. Okay, I have to read these comments. Please give us book recommendations, especially the books that help form your overall ideas and opinions. So I usually go back to Paulo Freire, Pedagogy of the Oppressed. This is a book that was big for me. Paulo Freire, Pedagogy of the Oppressed. Byung-Chul Han, Burnout Society was one that really put me on this philosophical path that has really grounded my videos, like in terms of who I am right now. and the YouTube videos that I do. This book was everything. Well, not everything, but this book was huge. It was very, it set me on a path. Lars Barnes, thank you for the donation. I love that sticker. It's cute. So Burnout Society, I recommend. Right now I'm reading Das Kapital, you know, part 1, because I'm a slow reader. And if there's anything else, Percy Jackson. What made you get into rap, and what are your favorite verses? Happy 50K in advance. I have been into rap since I was about 7 years old. I was like my family was into rock. Like my brother and my dad were into rock music. And my dad would play rock music in the car, and sometimes he would play Linkin Park. And Linkin Park was sort of my gateway into hip hop, which a lot of people actually share. Um, yeah, I'm pro not standing too generally, JDef. If you just started watching my content, oh, that's dope. Whatchamacallit? Yeah, and then Linkin Park and Mike Shinoda, the rapper in the group, they did a group. Mike Shinoda did a side project called Fort Minor. Fort Minor released an album, and prior to that, a mixtape. On the mixtape, it had 2 records featuring a rapper named Lupe Fiasco. I thought he was really cool. I was anticipating his debut, and then in 2005, 2006, his first song came out. His debut record came out, Kick Push. It wasn't his first song, of course. I would later find out about his mixtapes, Revenge of the Nerds. What was the name of those mixtapes? It wasn't Revenge of the Nerds was one. There was like a Rhyming Ape, First and 15th, First and 15th something. Damn. Either way, Lupe was the person that I really got into hip hop through. I listened to Kick Push. I listened to a couple of his records off his first album. Then eventually The Cool came out, and that shit changed my life. The Cool is like my favorite album of all time. One of my favorite rap verses of all time is on that record, The Coolest. I love the Lord, but sometimes it's like that I love me more. I love the peace and I love the war. I love the seas and I love the shore. No love for no beach. Baby, that's love. But she doesn't see, therefore I spar. I trick, I fall, run up and raw. I love her with all my heart. Every vein, every vessel, every bullet large. With every flower that I ever took apart. She said that she would give me greatness, status, placement above the others. My face with grace covers of the magazines of the hustlers. Paper, the likes of which that I had never seen. Her eyes glow green with the logo of our dreams, the purpose of our scene, an obscene obsession for the bling. She would be my queen, I would be her king. Together, she would make me cool, and we would both rule forever. And I would never feel pain, and never be without pleasure ever again. And if the rain stops, and everything's dry, she would cry just so I could drink the tears from my eyes. She'd teach me how to fly, even cushion my fall if my engines ever stall and I plummet from the sky. But she would keep me high, and if I ever die, she would commission my image on her bosom to hum. Or maybe she'll retire as well. A match made in heaven set the fires in hell, and I'll be the coolest. What? Yes, sir. Was this always the kind of videos you wanted to make? What made you decide to start your channel? So I've been making YouTube videos quiet as kept since I was like 10. I had some goofy YouTube videos that I made when I was in junior high. I'd always liked YouTube. I've always loved YouTube. Always loved YouTube. Old YouTube, new YouTube, man. Like, hey, you know, the company is what it is. And I'm certainly no pro corporation guy. But YouTube is just, it's where I grew up. I love it very much. I could spend all day, and I do spend all day on it. YouTube has been a thing that I've been kind of here and there aspirationally wanting to make it on. And I guess the dream's coming true. I don't know. It's kind of crazy to think about, right? Of course, I'm doing a specific thing right now where I'm doing these video essays once a week, and that's been a really great lane for me. But I also would be down to do other things. Like, I want to play games, and I also, you know, I make music, and I would love to release some music soon and do all types of things. And I think that I'll have the opportunity to do more things as things go forward, especially because a lot of you guys are really nice and like to encourage me. So the more you encourage me, the more dangerous I will become. Let's read a little bit of the chat. Let's see. I just started watching your content. Kriti Chamarti in the chat said, I love your videos so much, but especially I love your research skills. Can you give me some tips about how to research? You want to just get used to reading boring shit. Like, the boring stuff is not really boring. If you can find a way to get really interested in boring things, you'll have more knowledge than anybody else, because boring is a social assignments. It's a label. It's not actually like a tangible thing. A lot of the things that are considered boring are not actually boring. They're really cool and intricate, and they can only be verbalized in these ways that are really dense and complicated in order to extract the nuance that the expertise that the expert communities want. So the more that, like, if you're really into like a type of animal, and you just like learned, you just start reading fucking scholarly articles about them. You might want to have you might want to go to university so that you can have the databases available for you. JSTOR, EBSCO, Gale. That's the United States. We use those. There will be versions of those internationally. Use those databases. Read as much scholarly stuff as possible. Read as much dense theory stuff as possible, and just think critically. Constantly think to yourself, like, do I believe this 100%? Why not? The research is really just like extensions of thinking, right? So there's a million things I could tell you about research. I could give a 10-year spiel on it, but the biggest thing is you got to be able to start happily and confidently approaching dense, boring stuff and be like, ooh, I wonder what this is. I just finished 1984. Guess what country I'm stuck in? My country's very similar nowadays. Well, your name is Amy Silverstone. You're on the other side of the world, you said. Are you in India? Are you perhaps referring to the state of things under... Is Narendra Modi still the president, right? I'm really bad at global politics sometimes. I want to study global studies so I can not be so bad at global politics. There's plenty of countries where it's censorship and bad oppressive governments are a thing. What topics interest you lately? What topics don't interest me lately, man? Like Muay Thai, the NBA, the Premier League, Arsenal. I love you, Arsenal. We do. Fucking hip hop. This new J Cole record. U.S. politics are interesting, of course, because they're very relevant. Global Marxism. I'm very under the very tip of learning Marxism. I need to take more time. I'm into openly socialist rap. There's some dope socialist rap. Dead Prez. Yeah, I'm into a lot of I'm basically into every topic all the time. OMG, do you listen to 21 Pilots? I do not, but they do have some cool songs. Blue Scholars. Oh fuck yeah, J-Def. Blue Scholars is dope. Do they still make music? I don't think they do, right? It'd be so cool to see you do a collab with another commentary YouTuber. Stay tuned. Hi, Annabelle. Hey, get it, Poggers. Hey, Elliot Sawson. Damn, Lupe got me into hip-hop too. Ren, like, if you know, you know. I could go on and on with Lupe. They love the aroma of the world. Got the shakers and the makers and the... Oh, man. Kick Push. Oh, my God. And Lupe's new stuff is crazy, too. Oh, my goodness. I guess you guys enjoyed my recitation of the coolest. You took out piercings for Muay Thai. That's dope. I had to I took my earrings out, but I never fought, so I just took them out because my one got infected, and that had nothing to do with Muay Thai. No problem, Bubbles. I like the YouTuber. He does have a lovely speaking voice. Who? Tablo from Epic High. I saw people mentioning Epic High. I'm so excited for socialist YouTube, y'all. So many committees. There's a lot of dope. There's a lot of dope socialist content on YouTube. And there's a lot of bad stuff too. That's the fun. It's the fun is the interchange of opinions. Did your videos have the Windows Movie Maker text and effects and excessive YouTube annotations? Kinda, not quite, but kinda. The first video I remember ever uploading on YouTube. I need to double check to see if that thing still exists before I do this. Okay, it doesn't exist. The first thing I ever uploaded on YouTube was this video. I think it was like New York Yankees. I'm pretty sure it was the 2007 New York Yankees defensive highlights set to the music of Breaking Benjamin. It couldn't have been more 2007 Elliott if you tried. You couldn't have come up with more of a 2007 Elliott thing if you tried. Okay. And I'm pretty sure I removed it. But yeah, that was how I started. It was very old YouTube stuff. How'd you end up in New York? I never talked to anyone from there. I was born here. I was raised here. I lived 3 years in Santo Domingo, but I've lived pretty much all my life aside from that in New York. Detail and depth is like a drug when you get into it. That's the dorkiest thing I ever heard, Noah, and you're absolutely right. Nothing is inherently boredom. You're so right. You're so right. Dead Prez is dope. Yeah. Proletariat Blues. I don't understand why you need 21 pilots to fly one plane. Lol. Okay, Romaine. That's nice. That's funny. I'll see that. He's so serious in some of his videos, but he's so funny and chill in the streams. Yeah, I don't know. I want to be lighter in the videos too, but sometimes it's just nicer to just sit there and just have a serious talk. Do you know the song Power Struggle? I do not. Breaking Benjamin, incredible early YouTuber. If you know the music, listen, the music I grew up with, aside from hip hop, right? So I was listening to hip hop. I was listening to mainly Lupe. I would listen to, if this is like 2008, let's say this is 2008, 2009. I was listening to Lupe. I was listening to a little Kanye, Eminem. I was listening to, oh my God, I was down horrible for Drake. But then I was also listening to fucking Breaking Benjamin, 3 Days Grace, Seether, Linkin Park. Who else is in that alternative metal post grunge vibe? Oh my God, bro. Oh my God. It was Breaking Benjamin, 3 Days Grace, and Seether. I know that they were like the big three of the alt metal post grunge scene. Chevelle was in that motherfucker. Oh my goodness. Chevelle was in that motherfucker. I definitely made a Breaking Benjamin AMV in the early 2000s. You're great. I forgot Breaking Benjamin existed. Fire your guns, it's time to blow me away. Good Charlotte, it was pop punk. I will stay in the mess I made. Oh, you guys just... The fucking amount of Breaking Benjamin karaoke I can still do to this day. You name a Breaking Benjamin song, I'll start singing it. I swear to God, I'm like that. Well, for the first 4 albums. Afterwards, I don't think I could do that. Why do you say Seether? Seether. You guys remember Seether? Oh my God, Seether had a couple of really genuinely good songs. Fine Again, I don't give a fuck, bro. Fine Again is a genuinely amazing song. You could quote me on that. You say it's over and I'm fine again, yeah. Oh God, that shit was so good. I think that the lead singer of the group is kind of problematic. I'm not saying I'm a Seether stan, but they had good songs. Which I don't really listen to as much anymore, but if I were to, Fine Again, Gasoline, I'm gonna get some gasoline and burn the house down. Their song with Amy Lee, yeah. Oh, 'cause I'm broken. Me and Denai are gonna duet that one day. If we get to 100K subscribers, me and Denai will duet. I'm gonna grow my hair out. Denai will never be on camera. Well, this is what we're doing. This is how we're gonna motivate y'all. I love how I was like, name a Breaking Benjamin song, and I will sing it, and nobody named any of them because nobody knows Breaking Benjamin's songs like off the top of my head. I had a best friend, still one of my best friends to this day. One of the biggest ways that we built, like, Denai is super down. One of the things that was the pillar of our friendship, she burned me this fucking 3 Breaking Benjamin CDs. She burned me Saturate. She burned me the So Cold album. I forgot what it was called. the second album with the bald dude, and she burned me fucking Phobia, and she gave me all three of those records on like a um on like those old CDs. People used to make blank CDs. People used to have blank CDs and burn things on them. I don't know if you guys know that. And they would write on marker. Saturate. Oh my goodness, bro. Oh my goodness, bro. Right now, I gotta call my friend. I should really join a punk band or something. I could. Color Mind, bro. Color Mind. You don't understand. We were talking about alt metal. I'm talking about Breaking Benjamin. You may not know exactly what we're talking about, but when I tell you that Breaking Benjamin had it, they had it. Nice hat, thank you. Big bag of gamer. Good to see you again. I'm still obsessed with Evanescence. Evanescence is timeless. You know it's a great fucking Evanescence song, Going Under. I'm going under. Oh my god, best music ever. I know it's kind of random, but I would like to see your cat know more about him/her. She's not in the room with us right now, but maybe later she will be. Against Me is the socialist version of a lot of these bands we see though. I know Against Me. Against Me would be more again like in the, well, they were kind of pop punk, but they were very different. Yeah, they were socialist. They had like a kind of unique style. They were pretty edgy in a certain sense. Very interesting band. Very interesting band from what I know. My falsetto is really nice. I'm going under. That's nice to you. Lacrimosa is a good song. I haven't listened to it in a long time though, so I don't remember how it goes. System of a Down. System of a Down is so good. Oh my god. I'm just trying to resist turning this into a stream where I literally just burst into song every 2 seconds. Anyway, can you talk a little bit how you just developed your sense of style, including hair and glasses and stuff? I always like your fits. Let me tell you, it's a years and years and years of struggle to figure out. I know y'all understand. Okay, it takes years of struggle to figure out things. As a matter of fact, there's going to be some interesting evidence of that coming soon on YouTube. But there was... Okay, come through, Tanner. You went through a Slipknot phase? I have a couple of Slipknot. My shit is Psychosocial. And the rain will kill us all. Throw ourselves against the wall. If you don't do the fucking harmony, you're off. Like you're wrong. You're very wrong. And I like Before I Forget. That's a good one. Oh, and it's the only thing that slowly stops the ache. Slipknot, they had some shit, bro. They had some bangers. Yeah, I actually was not really a sharp, snappy dresser very much growing up. Shocker, I know. I was always interested in fashion though, but I had very slow starts. I used to wear big fitted hats and big snapbacks and clothes that did not fit me or cohere in any way. My whole thing when I was like a sophomore in high school was I used to wear black, not even like Team Adidas basketball sneakers, like off like the shit you get at Nordstrom Rack, Forever 21, not like when you go to the Tanger outlets and you go to those stores that are selling the sneakers for discounts, I would get those sneakers. Those were the sneakers I would have. The coolest pair of shoes I had prior to the time I turned 17 was like a pair of like LeBron, not the mainline LeBron, but the other line that he had. Yeah, and I would wear like black skinny-ish jeans. That was like my thing. Black slim jeans, black sneakers. I thought I was killing it. Turns out I wasn't. When I was in senior year of high school, my phase at that time. Why am I disconnected? Hello everyone. I'm here. I've not left you. I'm right here. There I am. I see myself. Okay. For some reason, OBS dropped for a second. Bro was rocking the N1 shorts with the Jumpman kicks. No, I was not even cool enough for Jordans, bro. I did have a pair of like Team Jordans that were like navy blue. They were kind of cool, but they were too tight on me. They beat the shit out of my Achilles. Um, yeah, but I didn't have much style. I would wear that black pullover. I actually wore that same black pullover in next weekend's video. The next video that comes out, I'm wearing the same black pullover that I used to wear in high school. It fit a little bigger on me over, and I would look really preppy. I had like a preppy thing because I would wear the khaki uniform pants, pink tie, black over pullover sweater, and I would have my glasses off purposely, so I'd be out there like, and that would be my whole shit. It was just be pretty smiley boy. That was a good move for me. But when I went into college, it was like, oh, I have to learn how to dress again. I had an Alex Turner phase where I horrendously failed to dress like Alex Turner in the AM era. If you were there, you knew it was a moment. And then in like sophomore year, third year of college, I actually got interested in streetwear a little bit. And I had a project for a class where I made a blog that would assemble affordable streetwear fits from people all over the world. I would find them on Reddit, and then I would message them, hey, can I put you on my blog? And they'd be like, sure. And then I would put their fits there, break down either what exactly they had on or like some cheap version of it. And that was where I got a lot of my understanding. So I'd be like, oh, the dad hats. Oh, and you can buy this for this amount. And then from there, I just got really into like fashion and streetwear. And I have a lot of expensive clothes now, and I have a lot of cheap clothes. I don't have like a lot of expensive clothes. That's a little bit exaggerating, but I do have a bunch of stuff that I saved a bunch of money for and bought at high prices, for good value, but at high prices because I love fashion. I really do. It's just a thing. It's such an elitist capitalist industry. It's very hard to support, but I like to buy the stuff secondhand, especially vintage stuff that just has dope and just come up with cool new ideas with fashion. Yeah, you don't know Alex Turner. My one blue Hollister hoodie held me down for years. It's the one. There's always those pieces. There's always those. That's the thing, is like when you get older, you start to learn how to mix and match a bit. But when you're in high school, it feels like everything fails except for two things. It's like, I don't know what the hell to wear. Everything keeps failing. But when I wear this hat, when I wear this, oh my God. This is so embarrassing. Excuse me. So y'all may remember the Watch the Throne era. The Otis music video where Jay-Z had the Yankee snapback with the alligator skin brim, okay? And that was like a thing for a bit. That was like the last era of snapbacks. I cannot wait until snapback revival, by the way, in 2030. 2035 is going to be crazy. I had a fake snakeskin brim, purple New York Yankees snapback. And I'll wear it like this. Because you can't, like, why would I wear a hat normally? You have to wear a hat like that, right? Like, I had to wear it like this, to just be like, I don't know, pretend to be Jay-Z. Or I wear like, God forbid, like this. That's how I used to wear my hats. And I had that one, it was purple. And then I had a purple pullover. It was a V-neck purple pullover, kind of thin. And I would wear both and they matched. And I thought that I was the coolest person that ever existed when I wore my purple fake snakeskin snapback and my purple fucking V-neck pullover. That plus Last Kings. Oh my God, there were certain things that I cannot forgive fashion-wise, man. Oh my goodness. Jerry Lorenzo definitely added more taste into the fashion world, I suppose. But, I don't really care for him either, so. But either way, like, I had so many hats. Like, I used to be such a hat person. Which is part of why, like, because you don't get bored when you wear hats of, like, your head. If you have, like, the same hair, especially as a boy, you have, like, the same hair all the time. You could just wear a hat and be like, aha, And then when I stopped wearing hats, no wonder I started dyeing my hair, because I was like, well, shit. Anyway, I've had a very strange guiding path, but I'm very comfortable with where I'm at now, fashion wise, but it takes years sometimes. It takes years, and just enjoy the ride. Just enjoy the ride, because even though you look back and it's like, wow, that wasn't a fit, that wasn't a fit, the journey is so much fun, especially when you're really enjoying yourself. What if fashion makes no sense to me? I mean, it shouldn't make sense. It's about it feeling good, you know? I'm so with you on fashion. My relationship with is always trouble in the name of sustainability. I just try to make sure I reuse clothes as much as possible. I wear clothes as much as possible, and then I always donate them. I don't sell. I very rarely resell clothes. I never throw them out unless they're beat up or not usable. And I donate clothes. I try to donate clothes as much as possible. I have a bag of clothes that I'm building up to donate again. Yeah. I believe in donating clothes if possible, to, you know, in the best way possible, or just, you know, if you buy something, use it as much as possible. So whether you buy it retail or you buy it secondhand, try to get as much use out of clothes as you can before you get bored of them. That's the closest we guys had. Yeah, we had, that's like, and first of all, like, color mine. I know you recently colored your hair. I believe I saw that. It's a very empowering thing when you're like, oh shit, I could do this with my hair. Because if you spend so much time in your life, like, I'm gonna wear a hat, and I'm gonna wear this, I'm gonna wear my purple hat, then on Tuesday I'm gonna wear my green hat, and then on Thursday I'm gonna wear my black hat. Yeah, I had a red and white striped hoodie that was a little too snug, and I wore it with a snapback for some correlating basketball team. It was a look. You know, Faith, we're figuring things out. That's life. You go through things, you figure things out. If I'm not dressed like an anime character, I'm not dressed. That's so real. That's so real. Any tips on managing college course load with frequent ADHD slumps? Any advice would be appreciated. Fedora era. Oh my god, I had a Fedora era. College course load with ADHD. I mean, look, everybody's different. So I'll just tell you sort of what I picked up when I was in college, and then also what I've picked up since, as I work with students, college students now, and think back on my college days. I picked an easy major. Journalism was the major that I picked. Journalism for me was an easier major than other things, because I could write and I had an interest in it. So figuring out, like, a lot of times, you know, people say you should major in what your passion is, or you should major in something that's really going to be your career. Ultimately, it's up to you, but a lot of the times the best choice is just to pick the major that's easy. If you're really, like, to be honest, because that bachelor's degree is the important thing, and you're gonna learn a lot anyway, and the connections are the most important thing. And when you really care about something later on, you can master in it, potentially, or just learn about it on your own, self-teach. With that said, minimizing distractions as much as possible. I would have not used Twitter, Instagram nearly as much. I would have, I don't know. I would have written more outlines. Writing outlines of essays, like, even if it's just like a bare bones, just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbered list explaining what you're gonna do for each part. Outlines are so important. Pomodoro method is cool. I don't use it, but I think it gets at something important, which is that you can do something by literally doing it 20 minutes at a time, taking a break of 10 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes, 20 minutes at a time, 20 minutes at a time. And if you start doing that, you know, even if you don't have a lot of motivation and it's 2 weeks before and you don't feel like doing it, you want to procrastinate, you can just be like, let me do 15 minutes of it. And the way ADHD works is that when you start doing 15 minutes of something, as soon as you start doing a little bit well, or getting a little bit interested, all of a sudden you're stuck in there. You might get 3 hours of it done. You might be done with it way earlier than you think. Try to give yourself push yourself to do small amounts of work and see if it'll lead to more, ahead of time. Being early, super important. I love waking up early. I love getting into class early. I love getting to things early. It gives you time. It gives you calm. And it gives you the ability to not worry about the thing, or to be more productive, because when you have ADHD, you're constantly losing track of a lot of things. So you want to make sure you give yourself that extra time, so that if you remember, oh shit, I didn't do this thing, you have it, you have that time. Check your Twitter DMs. Let me check my Twitter DMs. I would have been born 8 years later and hopped on ChatGPT. God bless. Oh shit, is that it? Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I don't know how I'm gonna make that work, color mind. But give me a second. Give me a second. Okay. Uh, I shouldn't be showing my DM. I forgot that my fucking DMs were open. God damn. I forgot that my DMs were. Oh shit. Well, thank God. I'm just checking now just to make sure. Okay, I haven't sent anything crazy to anybody. Oh, thank God. Oh, I cannot listen, y'all. I cannot. Do not let me get 1 million subscribers. Do not let me get anywhere near 200,000 subscribers. Stop me at 100K. Yo, I'm so sorry. Anyway. Oh no. Oh shit. That was so dangerous, bro. You don't know. Like, what if I was talking shit? I don't talk shit about people though. So, um, okay, I'm gonna try to get color mind on, but first I want to plow through some more, questions, some more Q&A. Yeah. So those are my advice. Those are my pieces of advice for ADHD. Thank you so much, Emily. On which basis do you choose your videos? Is there a personal intention behind them? Not the peek behind the bread tube machine. We're all plotting behind your back. Is there a personal intention behind them, or do you just do videos depending on what your subscribers would like to see? I generally just like to see what y'all are interested in, and then be like, oh, I could talk about this or that. I like to just read the vibe, read the energy, see the interests, and then be like, this would get some attention, and then just give myself some, give you guys some of my vibe, give you guys some of my input on that. I'm trying to move on. Like, that was very embarrassing. I'm trying to move on now. Did you ever have a time where a friend betrayed you, or you felt betrayed by a friend? Like, not just because of regular petty drama, but because of something they did that actually broke your heart and made you lose trust in them or question everything you thought you knew about them. If so, how did you handle it? And to add to this, have you ever consciously decided to cut someone out of your life? Could really use some advice. Okay. We'll do a hip hop maybe I got you, Rakim. Yeah, I mean, I've had times of people that I've cared about have sort of, betrayed is a pretty loaded, like, dramatic word almost, but it's, I'm still thinking about those DMs. I thank God I don't think anything crazy was in those DMs. I've definitely had some bad things happen to me from friends, and it happens. Like, the best thing that you can do is just kind of let it go. Just to be like, hey, they thought that they were doing what was best for them. Clearly, our goals, our paths are not aligned. So I'm just not gonna take anything harshly. Whatever fallout or consequences come of this, I'm just gonna handle with grace, and eventually it'll go. Do you know what I mean? So do another hip hop stream, but I'll do some more hip hop talk. Don't worry about me, Rakim. Like, Colormine is never gonna talk to me again, bro. Like, this is crazy. Okay. Let me use this browser to talk about to check my DMs this time. Okay. Yeah, it takes time, but you heal. It's true. So let me. Opinion on Ice Spice. Ice Spice is dope. I like Ice Spice. What has been the most rewarding part of starting YouTube to you personally? The money. No, it's yeah, it's the money. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's when you get a check from YouTube, it really is crazy, because yeah, it's something that I've wanted to do full time for a long time, and the fact that I'm getting close to that, it's just it blows my mind, because I didn't make very much money at all last year. I've never really made all that much money in my life, so it's pretty crazy to deal with. But aside from that, of course, it's the fact that I'm able to express myself and learn about things that I care about, and then express them to an audience, and then have the audience respond, and have so many people that are just so freaking kind, like so kind, and so seem to be so moved by the content or so inspired. it's just it's like it really makes you glow. It makes your heart glow. Like it's amazing. um I got betrayed by a childhood friend. It screwed me so badly. I still have trouble making new friends. Somehow I met my fiance though, but still no friends. Amy, it's one of those things where sometimes, trust is meant to be broken. You put your trust out not because you expect it to never get broken, but because it's the healthy thing to do. Sometimes it's just good to just put trust out there. Also, what's up, Green Mayo Man? I didn't say hello to you. My opinion on Stoicism or other philosophies you studied so far. A philosophy is a philosophy. A lot of times philosophies can seem like they're these unilateral things where it's like, oh, he's Nietzschean, or oh, he's Stoic. I'm really into Stoicism. But you could be into Stoicism and be completely different from another person who's into Stoicism. Like, a lot of Stoicism has been turned into this kind of almost right-wing capitalism fulfillment thing of like, we'll be fine in the face of everything because I'm strong and everything is fine, and people try to change things and they're the weak ones. Like, there's people that manipulate every single philosophy and everything. There's fucking far right Buddhism, for God's sake. So for me, it's just about using the ideas that are interesting to me and incorporating them together to find a way to reach out to other people. I think that there's really cool ideas with Stoicism, oftentimes that even correlate a little bit with Buddhism. And there's just different things like throughout that I think are really great. And I mean, I like Marx. Okay, where's the rizz? Give me it. Here it is. What age did you come to your ideologies, and what kind of outside influence was there, if that's not too personal? I think Colormind disappeared. I think I scared off Colormind. I started being lefty when I was young. I started watching like the Young Turks when I was like 9-10 years old. I was a really fucked up kid. I was like 10-11 years old. I started watching Young Turks. I was into Rage Against the Machine at an early age a little bit. Linkin Park used to have like lefty-ish messages. So I've been into leftism for like a long time, but I've only really been able to build some like strong ideological connections and practices in the past few years. It's a process. Everything's a process. But I've been lefty for a long time. What is my ethnicity? I'm Dominican and Chinese. What's up? Boredom is fun. What type of community are you aiming to cultivate and grow? I just want people that come here and that say, hey, I learned something. Oh, you're playing fighting games? Oh, dope. I just want people that can come to my stream and feel like they can learn something and they can connect with people. I don't really have a particular goal in terms of like, I want to build this kind of community. Whether there's 2 people in here or there's two, I don't want to say 200. There's never 200. Whether there's 5 people in here, there's 50. It's a pleasure either way to just be able to connect with human beings. And so if I can build something that allows human beings to connect with each other, which it seems like we're doing right now, like that's the best. That's really the best. If not too much, some advice for a not yet video essay YouTuber, just how to navigate in Newsday topics with trusty sources and a solid study about whatever's the subject. I think I'll be talking about that soon. I think I might have a video soon where I talk about tips and thoughts for people who want to do commentary videos. If you guys would be interested in that, let me know, because I've been thinking about it. What's up, Freddie? You haven't missed too much. You've missed some stuff, though not too much. Thank you, Colormind. Seems like you just want to help. I do really want to help. I'm currently not feeling the rizz, but okay. Valentina, come on, Valentina, why aren't you feeling the rizz? What's going on? What made you want to start making YouTube videos, and what keeps you coming back to make more? Well, I've been making YouTube videos for a long time because I love attention. I want people to love me. I want people to give me attention. Colormind is in here doing model work. You know what? That's a good point. Moni's a great shout. We do have to mod Colormind. I'll put him as a standard moderator. It's my best friend. He's a real bad bee. What's up, Nat? I just had dinner with my friend Nat. Now she's in the chat. Yeah, attention is what makes me want. What made me start wanting to make YouTube videos, and attention keeps me coming back for more. But also just like being serious about wanting to have a career in writing and putting out art. And YouTube is like the way that it's manifested for me, because this is the way that I've found essays and art and all types of things. So this is the kind of thing that just has made the most sense for me. What are the problems and consequences you face to reach this goal? A lot of time. Oh my God, a lot of time. I don't have time for anything sometimes. I use the word time a lot. I find myself struggling for time to do things. I wish I could just dive into hyperfixations the way I used to, but between the 2 jobs that I'm working and a couple of hobbies, it's like, wow, it's tough. Gave up a lot of time for that. Sometimes I don't really, to be honest, to be honest, I haven't experienced too much of the psychic damage yet. I'm sure that there's gonna be some trouble up ahead. You know, it's never fun to see negative comments. It's never fun to deal with the pressures, but I'm pretty okay at dealing with them, and I think it's because the start of me having an online presence was on Stan Twitter, specifically on BTS Twitter. And if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. Like I've been through things, I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Okay? I have seen things you folks will never believe. And so a negative YouTube comment simply would not, like, I feel very like chill. With that said, there is pressure, a ton of pressure to try to make the videos come out, questioning why is the algorithm suddenly deciding to drop me, checking out analytics over and over again. That is another thing that I know people talk about, and I know is like, you know, people understand is important, but you know, it's hard to put into words how much that kind of gets into your head, when it's like, why is my shit not popping, you know? So a lot of times, sometimes peace of mind, but ultimately, nothing crazy. I think this has been a pretty peaceful journey so far with this particular channel. And all those moments will be lost like tweets in the rain deny. It's because you learn how to be present with yourself. Nat, oh, you're so right. Well, I'm learning anyway. It's not an ending journey. Seasoned veteran. I know. Oh, please, not the BTS. Army Twitter shit. Bro, I've seen things. I've experienced things. The trauma that I experienced, like, I am so, I'm thick-skinned for this YouTube shit. I say that now, and, like, tomorrow I'm going to be fucking out of my mind. Like, tomorrow I'm going to be so sad. Like, tomorrow something's going to bother me so much, and I would have just been in here talking about nothing bothers me. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to try to jinx that, but all I'll say is that definitely was some level of preparation. That was some level of preparation that has allowed me to understand a lot of the nuances of what it means to have a presence in communities that are online, and all the types of attention that you receive, and all the types of sort of demands. So yeah, please make a call out to Army for Socialism. I think that there's some socialist Army Twitter accounts, but I haven't checked in a long time. Several of us here are BTS stands. Yeah, we're in here. We go crazy. Just wait for that Jimin album and that J-Hope collab with J. Cole, bro. J-Hope, J. Cole is coming, bro. It's unbelievable. What is BTS? BTS is a group, pop group from Korea. A pop group from Korea. Yeah, they got you in the chat. There you go, BTS Big Titty Man. Anyway, what are you trying to achieve with this YouTube channel exactly? I'm trying to achieve greatness. I'm trying to combine all the Infinity Stones. I'm trying to. I want to just. I'm in a position where I feel like this is sort of a new adaptation of, you know, the essayist career path. You know, where people would write essays, write columns in journals, in newspapers, and every week they would have an editorial where they would talk about a specific issue of the time, right? YouTube, I'm sort of treating it like that. It's like I'm a journalist who comes on here, and once a week I give you this editorial, where I give you my perspective on something, and my style of writing is a particular thing. I combine a lot of research and a lot of like personal connectivity and things like that with the audience. And my goal is to just, develop that kind of whatever that is in 2023. I develop that career. I'd love to write books one day when I'm ready. I would love to pursue my other passions, including putting out music again, which was my first passion. Doing other shit, putting out more programming, let's say. But ultimately, it's every day there's a goal. Every day is a different goal. It's not something that I'm super attached to. Tomorrow, this could all go away, and I'll just look back and say, wow, what a ride. What a beautiful ride. Thank you, Funtime Foxy. YouTubers are the new beat writers. In a way, I mean, some of us are beat writers. Most people are like editorial staff. Commentary YouTubers are the classic like editorial journalists that like we have a column. What's going on with men? That's what we do nowadays. Is we sit around, we talk about masculinity. Hey, no, don't talk until you try. They still fly. The stand-up was crazy for a bit. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm telling you, I have experienced things I don't think any of y'all will understand. Moni? If Moni's still here, Deny hasn't even been on Twitter that much. Tonight, previous comment, I just say that because as far as I've observed, harm reduction is currently kind of lost in its own echo chamber, which sucks hardcore because it limits its reach. There's a lot going on in the chat right now. Somehow I've not listened to one single BTS song ever. I don't know if you guys... I have no intention of turning this into a BTS stream, but one day we can do that. I is scarred. Listen, I've been through a lot of things in life, okay? And some of the things that I've experienced, I have amazing memories on Army Twitter, and I also had some tough times. See you, Green Mayo Man. It was great seeing you again. Who or what made you want to create videos on YouTube? I mean, there's so many creators that have inspired me. But like, I don't know. If I were to think back to my old days and the early influences, I'd probably think Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks probably influenced me in some way. But like, I haven't followed the Young Turks in a very long time. I'm not really a fan of theirs anymore, and not a hater either. Nowadays, there's a lot of great YouTube. Dan Olsen, great fucking YouTuber. I love Dan Olsen's videos so much. Man, it's a lot. It's just a lot of great videos out there. So I remember I was a hardcore Army member. Listen, motherfuckers like me, listen, the whole chat mobilized. You see what happened? How to cope with YouTube burnout. I have videos planned to film, but after being in a role of posting, I get burnt out. There's a lot of solutions for burnout. There's no one solution. Rest, obviously, taking breaks, obviously. I think for me, I get burned out very quickly. When I do something for a while, I can only do it for a short period of time before I go, no. When I write songs, I will write a song in one particular genre. It'll come out so naturally and so freely. The next thing I write has to be completely different. That has always been me, because I get bored. I get burnt out, and I get tired, and I'm just like, I can't keep doing the same thing. So, if you're a YouTuber, if you're doing whatever and you're burnt out, just pick a completely different style of thing, completely different genre or goal of thing, and just try that. If you've been making a lot of commentary videos about one topic, pick a very different topic, and just see what happens. See you, Faith. What show, someone asks, are you currently binge watching? I am currently binge watching nothing, because I don't really binge watch anything, but I am watching Abbott Elementary. It's really funny. Thoughts on the SAP Foundation? I have no thoughts. I don't know what that is. Oh, Emma, I saw your question earlier. Thank you for reposting it. for resending it. Gonna be embarrassing and talk about my question again because of any advice for producing and releasing music. I got the writing and singing part down, but I don't know where to go from there. So it's gonna suck. That's my first advice. Like just accept that things will suck. It's fine. If you're happy with things sucking and you just find yourself enjoying the process anyway, you'll find out that things probably don't suck as much as you think they do. Severance. I did binge watch Severance. That was a great show. When it comes to recording and producing, it really isn't about the tools. It's about the toolsman. What's the word? The worker, the man, something. The man, the woman, the person. It doesn't really matter if you use Audacity or Pro Tools. Although if you're really trying to get serious, use Pro Tools, fine. It doesn't really matter if you have a fancy microphone or a Blue Yeti like this. What matters is knowing the fundamentals, knowing where you want to position your face to get the sound out of the microphone that you want to hear your voice sound like. Knowing, what's like how to use the program that you have and the hardware that you have. Knowing what kind of filter and equalizer you want to put on so you can take out, like if your voice is thinner, you want to, lower a little bit of the treble and try to bring a little bit more rounding into your voice. If your voice is a little rounder and darker, you want to take out some of the darkness. You want to take out some of the bass levels on your voice. It's never a linear thing. It is a process of constant experimentation and learning. So if you want to get good at that, unfortunately the boring advice is still the same. The advice is really the same for anything. If you want to get good at something, you got to do it a lot, have a lot of passion for it, learn a lot about it all the time, and you'll see how much better you get. The craftsman, thank you, JDF. You'll see how much better you get. But if you just sit and you kind of go, oh, I don't know how to do this, and then you never do it, you're not gonna get good at all. So don't do that. If you want to do something, just do it and accept that it's gonna suck if it's fine. You can also, of course, get a skilled producer or engineer. That's a great way that you can go about it. Rakim is right. If you could find somebody, you could hire, if you're willing to invest money into it, take out a loan, you could find somebody to engineer, to record and produce your song. But I recommend doing home recording first to at least learn how to do it and how the process works and how you want to project your voice, etc., etc. So when you go into a studio and you record somebody, you're much more comfortable, you're much more skilled, you know exactly how to make it happen. So it's a process like anything else. I'm new, so pardon if you got into this one before, but like what brought you to the side of YouTube? So I was always left leaning growing up. And so when the commentary video essay stuff started happening, whether it was like Lindsay Ellis or then ContraPoints or Philosophy Tube and Folding Ideas, Dan Olson, H Bomber guy, like when those motherfuckers were on there, when they were on it, when they started rolling, I was like, holy shit, this is really cool. And from there, I became really interested in that form. And I started doing it with BTS as a topic on another channel. And because I was like, wow, there's not really any content like this about BTS. So that's what I aimed for. And from there, I got to a point where I was like, I don't really want to do this about BTS or K-pop anymore. I would like to keep that more of a personal thing. I have said enough, and I would like to talk about other things, or I'm bored of K-pop or whatever. This is kind of a restrictive space and all these things, I just had reached that point where I was like ready to move on from doing that. And I decided, hey, I'm going to do my own channel where I do commentary stuff. And so that's what this channel became. And it was a lot of experimenting along the way to figure out how exactly to do that, because nothing can ever be just easy. It has to be something that I'm neurotic about for 5 years. But eventually I started putting out videos once a week in the last summer. And I got really lucky. The second one was about the Try Guys and the wife guys keep cheating on their wives video, and that thing took off, and all of a sudden I was on a roll, and it was really great. Thank you, Emma. I think yeah, K-pop has a lot of good music and it has a lot of bad music. You know, Topaz does things. What's up? How many languages do I speak? 2, English and Spanish. Thoughts about death and dying. Without death, there is no life. Without life, there is no death. When you come to grips with the fact that death and ending in general is very much a natural part of life that should be enjoyed and celebrated and appreciated, it becomes a lot easier to deal with. Even though it's really much harder than that, of course, and more complicated. Thank you, Sonomi. Have a good one. Yeah, Boris City Magazine definitely has picked up that lane for sure. Gray, they're doing the thing. Who are your favorite YouTubers? So yeah, I mean, like Dan Olsen. I try not to miss Dan Olsen content when it comes out. I try not to miss H Bomber Guy stuff when it comes out. I really like FD Signifier, of course. I really like, who else do I love to watch a lot? I don't know. I watch like a variety of things. So there's a YouTuber and a live streamer named Zealand who does Football Manager content. I love playing Football Manager, so I watch a lot of his stuff. There are channels that talk about, you know, Muay Thai. Sylvie Von Douglas E2. She has this amazing Muay Thai library that's chronicled her journey as a fighter with over 200 fights in Thailand, coming from the U.S. And chronicling all these interviews and discussions and training sessions with legends of Thailand, of Muay Thai. There's just so much dope stuff on YouTube. There's a dope fucking channel, Suzanne Non-Duality. She got some deep ass, like real Buddhist shit. Not like that fake, just mindfulness only, nothing else. Vibe out, flute music, Buddhism. Like, she got that real Buddhism. She has that real Buddhism going on over there. Yeah, you know, there's a lot. Amy, I will say there's metalheads that really like K-pop, and then there's metalheads that don't. It's just one of those things. You gotta just look around, see what you can work with. But there's great metal in Korea. I will say that. I mean, you don't have to just listen to K-pop. You can listen to. There's a lot of great rock music, metal. Indie's very huge in Korea, but that has like a lot of different directions, of course. There's some really interesting combinations of traditional Korean music and rock music over there, as well as much like more conventional sounding stuff or more, you know, Western sounding stuff. There's some heavy shit. Thank you, Juicy Ball. Thank you, Juicy Balls 52. Talk about music. Music is good. I like music. I was just talking about music right there, so I think I answered that question at the end there as well. Now I am going to see if Colormind is willing to come on. If so, something very special might happen. But we'll see. Do. I'm gonna comment. Do. This is a live stream that's gonna give you all rizz. I hope you are all satisfied with the amount of rizz you've received. I'm not going to see Suga. I tend to not really go to too many concerts in general, especially because I'm not like rich. I don't want to like spend money on going to concerts until I have a certain amount of money, and I'm not at that amount of money yet. So I'm letting other people have that fun. I've been to one BTS concert though. I also have to get headphones. If we're gonna do this, we gotta do this with headphones. We're not very far from me karaokeing Breaking Benjamin songs, by the way. Wubble Up, thank you so much. KR&B kind of plastic too, but I figure it's because I'm black. You know, there's some good stuff in KR&B that's more indie-ish. That's generally in general, the more indie you get, the more cool stuff you find. This is a rule of any music industry anywhere. The more corporate stuff is, the less cool it is. Okay, and that's an unfortunate part of life. But what I'll say is, um, there's some KR&B stuff that I like, but I also too find that um, some of the stuff, like a lot of the stuff, just kind of feels a little bit like, you know, and a lot of that is just because it's coming from pretty, processes that are trying to make a specific kind of, glossier, poppier type of R&B that satisfies a particular type of audience and isn't like super challenging. I will say there's a really great song called "Blessed to Be With You." I forgot the name of the artist, but I know G Soul's on it. That is maybe the best Korean R&B song I've ever heard. That thing is amazing, and you gotta watch them. Like, that shit is fucking dope. Blessed to be with you all the time. Okay, I hear something. Hello?
Hello.
One second.
I
I
can't see
see an
you, bro.
issue here. I'm not hearing anything, and I think it's me.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
because
it
it's
is
coming.
you.
Okay, it's me because you're being heard right now, but not by me.
Okay.
I can see your audio picking up on the thing, so I'm trying to figure out.
I can hear you though. You're good.
One second, hold on. Say something.
Yo, I can hear. Oh, we got Uncle Government out here.
Oh, yeah. I'm not showing you on stream yet, so
Okay,
you can
awesome.
adjust that and then say something again.
Hello, this is Color
Oh, that's
Minds.
so weird. Oh, here we go. Say something again.
Hello.
Still
Got
not,
it.
okay.
You
Okay.
probably need to
Say something again.
switch to
Oh,
whatever you have your earphones plugged into. Oh crap, you
I've
can't.
been switching to everything except. Okay, try now. It's literally. Okay. It's been coming on both of the speakers. And
Um,
goodness gracious. Like, I've switched it to each of the speakers. I'm switching. Um, okay, I'm just testing my audio right now.
oh, I can't.
Um, Hello to everybody who's watching. By the way, we're currently in technical difficulty mode because Elliot's computer is confusing him. Elliot's computer is confusing him. I repeat, his computer. Stop doing that to this. Why is it doing this? This is so frustrating. It's literally picking up every speaker except mine. Except the one for this. And I know that this microphone is working because this is a very unique issue. Okay.
Only,
Just,
only when you.
so the best thing I can do is just to do this. Okay. I'm just gonna switch my headphones to here. Say something. Okay, 1 second. It's it's still. Say something again. Say okay. This is okay. I should be able to hear you now. Yes, I can hear you in my headphones. Now they cannot hear you yet, so I had to switch
Okay.
to here, and now they're hearing you. We figured it out.
Okay. Now
Okay.
I can't see you in Zoom though.
Yeah,
Like
that's
in our lobby. Is
yeah.
that normal?
That's
Okay.
going to change. That is going to change because I'm going
Okay.
to first. Hold on a second. What I'll do is I will go here, and then I will go here, and then I will switch to this. So this has that. And I'm gonna go here, and then I'm gonna go here, and then I'm going to go here, and then I'm gonna go here.
Okay. There we
Oh,
go. Gang, gang.
oh my
Okay.
God! And that only took 10 minutes. Hello, how are you?
Literally me last night. Good, good. What's up?
Oh, I'm great. I am overwhelmed. I'm
Happy 50K. Very well deserved.
Thank you. I mean, you've been supporting for a long time. Um,
Right, yeah. I'm maybe not a day one. I think I'm a day 17K, something like that. Yeah.
Day 17K is impressive. Like
Yeah.
that's I mean, either way, like it's just it's an honor. I'm very very thankful for your support, for everybody's support, of course, but I was especially cuz I had seen you around, you know, I had seen you were on the now infamous FD Signifier stream. I think I was watching that, and the day afterwards, you had like replied to something of mine, and I was like, that's him. And I had seen like
Hey,
some stuff with you otherwise as well, so I was like, who'd have thought?
honestly, had no business at all being in the middle of that drama. Like sometimes I'll have like my friends who will get into who are like baby leftists, and like they'll come in through. Some of them will come in through Codology, and they'll be like, "Bro, I just saw you on this Codology video. You good?" And I'm like, no, I'm not a debate bro streamer. I
I
swear this
said,
was a
I
one
thought you
time
were
thing.
different.
Right. I was like, yo, so you how doing male podcast now, Tayo? And I'm like, no, you don't understand.
You don't
I
understand
have to
any
fight
of
these
this.
allegations.
It was
But
interesting.
no, yeah.
It's always interesting to be in the middle of situations like that because
Right.
they get a lot of attention, and you sometimes think like, oh yeah, like attention, good, I'm a YouTuber, but it really doesn't work. It
No,
sometimes really doesn't work that way.
we had a very interesting conversation during while that stuff was happening. Cause like for me, like my background, right? I think we're like exactly the same age, right? You're like a 96er, 26,
96,
27.
96 line,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And like while this isn't true for although my audio is coming in pretty clear, right?
I think you
Let me
sound
make
pretty
sure.
good.
Okay. Chat, let me know if I get echoey. But I think we got to grow up in a really good medium point with our relationship to the internet. Like I spent half of my puberty not on the internet, and then the other half with Facebook being like the biggest thing.
Right.
So it's like, but like, and then because of my own politics, I wasn't chronically online until this shit happened. I'm not chronically online, but like then all of a sudden being opened up to online discourse and to see people that care a lot about their digital opinions, like direct that towards people that you know is different than like what we grew up with, where it's like people might talk about it in the group chat, but it's not going to be as toxic, I guess, is really the thing, right? But we had an interesting conversation saying like, I definitely have empathy now when I see people being reacted to, because for all the stuff that happened, it's like there definitely is something weird, and like I hope it never happens to me. I hope I have enough milk toast opinions that like nobody needs to make a picture of their face going like with
Yeah.
my face right next to him. But like it definitely is a trippy experience to see a person use your likeness to talk about you, and like you just not be in the room in the way that like I don't know if you were like I think you said you did do like some creative writing or something in school, but if you were in a writing class, like that workshop atmosphere of like you having to sit silently while people are like, well, I think they did this well, I think this could have worked better. I have empathy now on both sides and be like, yeah, it's just a little too panopticon-y. Um, but that's hard to explain to a person who doesn't also create. And I actually was speaking to Dr. Fatima. Like I don't know if you're hip to her. She does.
Yeah, she
She's
just
an
did one on
upcoming.
about Pluto.
Oh my god! In that
I
video
need
was
to
so
watch it.
amazing. it's so good. I wish we would have already watched it so we could talk about the ending because she gets really good discussion questions that I'm gonna talk to my friends about. But
Discussion
yeah,
question.
it's that idea that uh this is kind of the language of our platform though. Like at the end of
Yeah.
the day, that's kind of where I land. It's like I'm okay with a lot of things, but it's just because I don't care enough.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, are takedown videos bad? Probably, but I just don't know enough people that are doing it for it to be like the biggest problem I have in the content I want to do when like, trans women are dying and some shit, right?
Yeah.
Like it comes more down to, and I was telling this to my friend Ghost Star, where it's like, if people, Twitter could be so great if people just didn't care as much, right?
Yeah.
Like, if everybody understood that you're just bullshitting on Twitter, Twitter would be a pretty fun place. Remember Yik Yak? It'd be like Yik Yak,
Yik
you
Yak.
know?
Well, Yik Yak would. Yik Yak
Let me
was.
let me show you.
Yik Yak was probably even. If there was an app that had the potential for more toxicity, you know, Yik Yak
It's
could
gonna be
get.
it's gonna be Yik Yak, but it's
Yik
like
Yak was.
because no one cared though. Like, no, the news was not
Oh
being
my
filtered
god,
through.
yeah.
Could you imagine if we got our news through Yik Yak? That's what's basically happening
That's
now.
basically Twitter,
And
yeah.
right, and I don't know. I'm now getting more. The best word I can use is violent about this point of like, I just want to remind people that we can choose the level of attachment we have towards the media that we consume.
Mm.
And that, right, I feel like a really interesting thing about being a content creator, right, is that, for better or for worse, we understand that. Like, you see some shit like, I want to even pick like a good example. I haven't gotten all the way through your authoritarian parenting video, but I got through the intro and it was already fire. But like, that's
Oh,
the
thank you.
thing, right? It's like, it is you thinking about, you deciding that, like, I want to talk about the way that we were parented,
Right.
especially in immigrant households, and I'm going to take it that deep because that's something that I care about it, and like, it makes sense for me to
Yeah.
do it. You could have talked about Rihanna instead. You could have did like cock shame or whatever, and like did the same, because you're a good writer and you're a good communicator. You
Oh.
could have went just as deep, just as specific, but for what purpose? Why use that power for something you don't absolutely care about? And because I have that perspective, I look at people sideways when I see people that do weekly things, but like, I feel like they don't care about what they're talking about. They're like trying to
Mm.
chase what the main character of their platform is because they feel
Mm.
like they have a duty to commentate on it. And for better, not even for better, for worse, but like, I see the pattern of talking about shit you don't really care about, but because you can get a reaction, not knowing that you're creating all the echoes that make everybody think that this isn't something that we all care about. When high key, it was just like, you were just on the toilet taking a shit, and you're like, you know what? I kind of have this random thought.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the you know when I had my experience in Stan Twitter, I was there for like 2 years. You get the intensified. It's this thing that people describe often. A lot of the times, it's one of the sort of funniest, most sadistic things that would happen. Um, was like, people will get jumped all the time, right? People will get jumped on Twitter all the time. Stan Twitter, it's just like every single minute there's somebody getting jumped for something. And there was just always this gag where somebody, if some, maybe it would be one of our people in our friend groups, or like a friend of a friend, or maybe it would be somebody on the other side, but somebody would be getting jumped for some reason, fairly, unfairly. Usually it's never fair because it's jumping, but somebody
Just,
getting jumped, and you could tell like what.
I'm imagining the SpongeBob meme where it's like the old man comes out and
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
like, "What
yeah.
a beautiful day." How many times do we have to tell you, old man?
How many
But
times
there's
do you
a
have to
picture of
teach you this
like
lesson?
Jungkook.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Like it was somebody's getting like tons of K-pop avatars and like horrible, like crazy things in their quote tweets and their replies right now, and from their time zone and the order of their tweets that they tweeted something and went to sleep, and everybody's in the freaking in the group chats and in the replies like, wake up, like you have no idea. This person has no idea. They're sound asleep. It's 3 a.m. They have no idea in 5 hours they're gonna wake up and be like, "What?" They're gonna be like, "Oh no!" And they have to deactivate. It was a hilarious and like kind of terrifying thing where it's like you don't you want to be able to log off, shut things off, and be like, "Oh, that's it for the day." But then it keeps going when you're not there, and there's so many things happening that you're never going to be able to see. I remember seeing somebody who was like stalking me, who was saying wildly crazy stuff about like me and a person and somebody else. Yeah, and they had their whole thing, their whole account was just like rants about me. Their pinned tweet was like a thread with like 60 replies, all them saying mad nasty things about me, racist things, sexual things. Like, it was wild.
That's so like why I've been hearing this story more and more, and it's like that's why I like because it's an ego check for me because like me and my little 5K subs like I don't have to deal with this yet. I've gotten like a couple of like essays that are more well-meaning, but like just like over explaining something in like a slightly annoying way. But like trolls or people that and tell me if this kind of rings true because as I see it from how close I currently am, it is really weird that people can look to you and say, ah, this is a stable source of content. Like this is
Yeah.
something that I could latch on to and like use you because like I see you as a normal person, even though this person like or this troll right will look at you with 50K and be like, oh yeah, you know, he's not even
Yeah.
gonna notice me anyway. Or like I'm trying like in a kind of sadistic way, I'm investing in Elliot's rise because I even though I don't like him, I can see him with his soy boy beta cuck aesthetic, like getting 200K and like I kind of want to be known as the first hater.
Yeah.
That's so weird because like they do that to my friends, like they do it at the Princess Weeks, they do that to Haryana Hook if you're into like animation content.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I didn't understand it at first till they broke it down, and I was like, yeah, you know what? If you are, if you just want, if you want to create a brand identity, what is more consistent than somebody being like, oh yeah, he doesn't like that guy, and every time
Yeah.
this guy does something, I'm gonna talk about it. That's so trippy.
Yeah, and then the moment comes where you actually do mess up, and then that person's like, aha! And then they get 20,000 views. And people were like, wow, you were on it, right? I mean, it's such a hilarious cycle. I mean, if you continuously hate on somebody, if you're in an atmosphere, if you're in an environment where hating on somebody can be justified, eventually it will be. You just have to wait for that day to come, right? And if you're always the hater, you can never be the person that's getting hated on because you're always in somebody else's mob, and so the mob can never turn. If the mob turns on you, it doesn't matter because you could be like reverse Uno reverse card. I'm in this mob mobbing against you. That's what people do all the time. It's like as soon as they get criticized for something, it's like you see how these people are coming at me. It's because they're all ignorant and they just don't understand the truth. And then turning off my replies, it's the whole thing, right? And it's like, well, if you're in a situation where you're willing to reconcile, like jumping people and saying horrible things to them, rather than having some sort of balanced ability to critique people, is like totally fair. And like you get, as long as somebody messes up, you have a license to say all types of things to them. You have to have all types of these contradictions too, to be able to parse that, because there's no other way that you're going to be able to stay in that for long without it being too toxic. So I think you get to a point where when you're online a lot, where it's kind of like it's fuck or walk basically, where you're just like, one day you're like, why am I here? There was a joke that we make, a bunch of my friends, especially because BCS have been like kind of inactive over on that side of my life. The long since detached, but still part of my life. It's part of my life.
The backstory.
Yeah, my villain origin story. But like, I'm still friends with so many people, and like the joke is like, and I don't use this term. I try not to use this term because of connotations. But like, the joke is like, oh, like everybody like BTS aren't active, so everybody had to go get bitches. Like it's like we're not
Hey
on Twitter anymore. People are
yo.
like all of a sudden this person's got a boyfriend, this person has a girlfriend, this person's got none of them are tweeting anymore because they have dates.
What you can do with all that free time.
It's like yeah, it's like oh wait, I have to have a life, like I have to socialize and stuff. Oh, and then people go out and they meet people and they make good friends. And they're like, oh, this is actually really nice. Like, actually, I don't know why I was yelling at people all day on Twitter. Like, this is great.
Literally. Like, isn't that just what you want to like? Because shout out. I just a random another reason to compliment you. Is that shout out to the work that you do for masculinity? Because isn't that all we want to like you, me, no one like this new wave? That's the only thing we're trying to shake people to say. It's just like, hey, look, you had if you replace some of that hating time,
Yeah,
with some home brew D&D content time, you might realize you're actually not that angry. Or you might forget about how angry you were about some stuff. It's like going to the gym. It's like I know it seems like it's kind of stupid and you don't really want to do it, but then you
yeah.
go and you're like, fuck, this feels really good.
I love those.
I'm
I love that tweet. That's like, just went for a walk and it actually made my depression better. I fucking hate this. This is the worst.
wild, bro. And every time somebody brings that up, I bring up my equally high thought, where it's like, I now realize the answer is that my mom couldn't cook white people food, and Nigerians don't have the healthiest home dishes.
Okay.
But I always used to ask if vegetables are so good for you, and when I eat them, I feel better. If I after a while, then why don't they taste as good as candy?
Right.
Like evolutionarily, right? If you're pitching me that things are supposed like things that are good for me, my body should want them. I want scientists to explain specifically why vegetables don't taste as good as things with sugar in them. Now, of course, I've said this take enough, and when people think I'm being really serious, they'll actually sit me down trying to explain. And like I will contend with you that yes, if you just throw some seasoning on there and actually cook your vegetables, they all taste pretty good.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. It's like I grew up like getting the bag broccoli from Sam's Club and just putting it in, throwing some salt on it, or my mom throwing some salt on it and just call it a day. So like we don't grow up in a environment where we're taught that vegetables are supposed to be good. And I realize now I'm going to get into a digression. So stop me if we're going too out of left field.
We're going super far left now.
Anyway,
that's fine. Go for it. Go for it.
There's all I can say that yeah, things that are good for you sometimes also like you got to do them before they feel good. And I do feel like that's a scam, but it's a scam that we have to live with.
Well, I think it's a trick.
Vegetables.
It is a scam, but the scam is that obviously like taste, I hate being this taste is subjective guy, but like we get programmed to think like, oh yeah, this is what tastes good. It's like Doritos and it's like this kind of candy. And it's like actually like the people that don't grow up with that stuff and grow up eating like, broccoli cooked well, like nice healthy dishes,
stir fry shit.
Once they get 22, 23 years old and they eat Pop Rocks for the first time, they're like, what the fuck is this, right? It's just that we have been indoctrinated. We've been poisoned, right? Like I was poisoned. I had Coke when I was 6 and then I was done. My life was over. And you realize like, well, actually I could just reprogram myself. Like maybe I know in my heart, like right now I have this urge to eat this particular candy. But then you realize like as you get older, that sugar starts to taste stronger and stronger to you.
Yeah.
And you start being like, why did I enjoy this so much? It's so sweet or it's so salty. My tongue is burning off because of all the sodium. Like, and you kind of start to find more joy. It's like, it's the same thing where it's like, man, I'm getting older and it's like, I like eating tofu. Like I like drinking water. I like going on walks, and I just hate myself.
I like drinking water.
Yeah, I like drinking water a lot. I drink water all the time.
I start feeling better after getting 9 hours of sleep instead of 4.
Yeah, I like waking up early and seeing the sunrise. It's like, oh no, I'm an uncle.
I did hear you say that before, and like I appreciate that ADHD representation because I feel like low key it's like it's another side of ADHD. I know some people. I know on TikTok it's more like we like to wake up late. But I really find with a lot of my neurotypical friends, they are surprised how even like if we're spending the night or something, like I will wake up if we went to bed at like midnight, I still want to wake up at 7. Yeah. Like I have to wake up at 7 a.m. and I need to make sure, and honestly I need to make sure no one else is up at 7 a.m. because like I enjoy the morning because there's very little like external stimuli.
Yeah.
So like I feel I can figure some stuff out before people start bothering me
Yes,
with other
exactly.
stuff. And like that's the way my life was oriented. So I
Especially
felt seen
because
in that moment.
like my mom, like I live with my mom. I like living with my mom, but my mom is a ball of energy and chaos and like emotion, and it's like as soon as she's up and she has her coffee, it's like this is not my house. Like this is her stage, and I am now a peripheral character, sort of in the background reading a book. I can't really get my space to claim until she's asleep or out of the house. And so if I wake up earlier than her and stay up later than her, and that's when I get to the afternoon when I'm like, damn, I hate the afternoons because it's like I'm stuck there. My mom's on the phone. I have no room. I also don't have like anything specific to do, so I take afternoon naps. I think if you go to bed at 12, wake up at 6, take a nap from like 2 to 3 or 3 to 4, like that's like the good sleep pattern that I'm trying to be at. Cause
I think that's a sustainable sleep pattern for sure.
I do,
That's
because
that
if you get the
I forgot what
7,
that's called, that binaural or whatever.
yeah, or the what
Biphasal, that's what it's called. Yeah.
biphasal. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
listen, because
It's like they were like, I don't know if you saw that, if you also saw this YouTube video at one point, but they were like, yeah, we used to sleep like before industrialization.
right,
We slept 2 times. Like at we slept at night, but then we woke up at like 2 a.m. because like, you know, if you're not being bogged down by capitalistic stress all the time, like you really might. Some people wake up after like 5 hours of sleep and you just get up and there's not shit to do. But it's like you can go out, like if there's other people outside now, you can just kind of get some shit done at 5 a.m.
yeah,
And then people will be like, okay, then the sun goes up. You work a little bit from like 8 to, or for their time, like sunrise to like midday.
wow,
And they're like, okay, cool, we're done. And then you go take in Spain, we call these siestas. And then like you take that other sleep because there's not shit to do anymore. And then you come back at like 4 to 6 for social time. But what happened during, which, as we can clearly see, what happened during industrialization is that, we standardized the amount of time that people are coming, since they didn't need the light anymore. So like, actually all this biphasal shit, like we can't have y'all leaving the factory and then coming back, because then y'all not gonna come back, y'all gonna start drinking.
exactly.
No, like, so we're gonna be here 8 hours one time, and we don't care how dark or how light it is, just follow the sound of our bell.
Yep.
And then that's how we get fucked up now. I was talking to Dr. Fatima about this, where I'm like, I think I saw like it was like an article on it, where it's so funny that we made up this thing called seasonal affect disorder just to describe the fact that we have to stay inside because of our jobs, and that makes us sad because humans need more sunlight in the winter. So we're all just like, man, why do I feel so bad in the winter? And it's because like we're not allowed to be proper humans for half the year.
Yeah, that's a perfect encapsulation of like how wild mental health science is, right? Because it's so necessary in a lot of ways, but also it's like we've got disorders for everything to describe what is basically capitalism. Like,
right.
This is I think chapter 10 of Capital Volume 1, The Working Day. It's just the capitalists are like, we need to get as many hours as you as possible. We need to make your time as efficient as possible. There's a whole like the video I did about time management. It was that. It's literally like, and people would be in your comment section. I love YouTube comments. People would be in your comment section like, so you're saying that okay, try to have your socialist revolution. You can't manage your time. And it's like, my friend, what I'm saying is
my brother in Christ,
my brother in Jesus Christ. I'm saying that if you look at the history of time management as an obsession and as a social phenomenon, it comes from capitalists. It comes from the industrialists organizing people's day so that they have as much time to spend working within the factory as possible. It's pretty clear, and it's very palpably used in the literature, in the language of these industrialists, and then it becomes something that we do to ourselves. We eventually become like, well, yeah, time management. Oh, if I'm not painting enough paintings, I've just simply not managed my time well enough. And it's like, well, you are spending 8 hours every day in a fucking job that you hate, that takes up your time for no reason. That could be it too. Maybe if you didn't have to do that and then commute an hour back and forth, like maybe you'd have more time for the paintings.
Exactly.
But
maybe if you didn't have to disassociate for 3 hours on Sunday because of Sunday scaries because you didn't like going to work on Monday every week, you might feel no matter what you did that your time was more well spent. We spent so yeah, and if we were like 10 years older or probably Gen Xers or older millennials watching us have this conversation is like, yeah, bro, like we already know this or like, join the club. And this is what it does feel like to go through adulthood
Yeah.
when it's like, you just realize how much of your time is just is dead space that doesn't is dead chaotic space.
Yeah.
It's like you're not doing something, but you're worrying about all the other responsibilities you now have to do. And especially when you're more neurodivergent, this ends up in paralysis. But I realize, especially now when I work from home, how much of my day is like, this is technically free time, but it doesn't feel like free time because I could be more productive with it in just thinking about the other things I could be doing. And right, it takes a pandemic or it takes a job change or a life thing for you to be like, wait, as long as I worked towards something in my life, as long how I see it, because I need to a main character in my life. As long as I advance the plot somehow today, that technically is a productive day, and over time that becomes a productive life. But it is we're not taught to see it that way.
No, not
Because
at
like
all.
because we literally only think we have 8 hours of free time. I can't tell you how many business people like really think like that. Where because since we're already taught from birth that like you have 8 hours for a work day and you need 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
And there's only 24 hours in a day. So it's like they're building their lives around like, okay, how can I squeeze as much as 8 hours? It's like you don't even really have those 8 hours.
No,
You
you do
have
not.
you have a life, to be honest. You just have a life. And you got to figure out how to fill that space. But if I often feel like, which is the work we're trying to do, right? If you dismantle capitalism and white patriarchy, it's like once you start seeing that these are more settings in the game rather than the like source code itself, you're like, can we change some of these parameters? Do you mind if we change up the game a little bit? I feel like it could work. I feel like it could work better now that you asked me. Not just asked for my opinion.
I I have to confess, this is I don't know if I've ever told anybody this before. But I'm telling it now to this entire crowd. I did have at one point in my life a bit of a Gary V phase. I did. And I was like, this is probably when I was like 21. And part of it was that you ever like, it's kind of what I would compare to like, you think there's like a joke, like there's like an irony going on when you're watching something. It's like, oh yeah, that's so funny that they're doing that, and then one day you realize that they're not joking, that they're being serious. Like part of the Gary V thing for me was, I was like, he would say these things that was like, if you want to be a successful business person, don't sleep, right? Or like, no, he would say like sleep is important, but he'd be like, I didn't go out an hour in my 20s. I didn't spend any time having any fun. I spent every hour working.
No girlfriend.
No friends, no girlfriends, nothing. That's what it takes. And I was like, he's right. Like, that's true. And that sounds like something that you shouldn't do unless you're absolutely obsessed and enjoying that process.
And
then
listen, oh, sorry.
Well, I was gonna say, like, at that point I was like, oh well, there's a self-aware thing going on here, right? Surely. Then I realized more and more as he started minting more tokens that I was like, oh no, he's also participating in the process of glorifying that lifestyle and making people feel more and more inferior to him and wanting to emulate him and doing that. It's not just that he's like, hey, I just really like business and I did business a lot and I was successful because I had those privileges in that situation. So then I was like, oh, that's not good. But like for a while, it was like, oh yeah, well, that makes perfect sense. It's, you have no life and you do something all the time, like you'll be successful in it. You'll just be miserable for everything else. And then
no, I'll express solidarity over that. Like I will. I don't know how much I want to say about it because I realize y'all heard it here first. But don't come at me if I change my mind. That a video coming out in April, a big video that I have that's going to be about like the black pill and like I don't think I've ever really told people before, but like when I was in like middle school and high school, I was kind of black pill. Like I wasn't on the internet like that, so I wasn't in the subreddits. I wasn't gobbled up by the community per se, like it is today. But when I look back now especially now that I know more what it is, I'm like, oh no, this is exactly what I believed when I was in like 7th grade to like 11th grade that the world is the way that it is. Here's the game. And if you want to win the game, you got to play by these rules. And so I also went through a Gary, especially as a person who went to business school. Like I was like, no, I could honestly readily tell that this is unhealthy. And he says like, people are going to say this is the healthiest way to do it. And now that I'm older, I wish I didn't do it this way. But there's kind of like an implicit contract that, suffer now for enlightenment later. And that's what makes sense to me as a 21-year-old. I'm like, okay, so he's saying it's gonna suck for a while, and if I keep going, eventually I should get back all the happiness that I'm forgoing right now.
Right.
And it's not until you chase that shit, you're like, that don't even make any sense because happiness isn't like it's not stored. Happiness is like an emergent quality of like doing shit that makes you happy. So like all the time that I would have wasted not doing things to make me happy, I don't get it back if I get $1 billion. I'm just now sad and now I made myself sad getting $1 million is all the thing that happened, right? And usually I think that's what happens by the time you like either fail enough that you're like this just isn't tenable and you see the myth of the American dream, or you get a little bit of success. I'm sure like the first time you had like a popular video or you had a media that like was received well, you're like, this feels great, but it didn't like change your life. No. Like it didn't make you happy for a whole month, right? It made you happy for a piece of time and then you felt the same hold and keep going. And eventually, and this is the optimism I have, I think for most of us normal men, we just like, oh, okay, maybe shit's deeper than just getting points on the board. Maybe actually, if I'm the best boyfriend, if I'm the best uncle, if I'm the best friend, I feel like actually being respected by the people in my community is going to make me give me as much clout as I'm trying to chase with a Gary Vee style. But that's to say that honestly, we need to unpack that, like because a lot of us, especially the ones of us that make content, went through a motivational speaker phase like a Tony Robbins or Gary Vee, in which like this particular brand of masculinity that isn't macho, right? It's strategic. It's more the prince, more Machiavellian than it is like trying to be like a hero. It's like, nah, man, you gotta, you just gotta put your head down, be a Sigma wolf. Understand that, all the L's you take now are gonna become W's later. And that's what not only burns you out, but it jades you. Right, because you eventually are like, anybody who's not trying as hard as you doesn't deserve the salvation you're projecting on everybody else. It's like, bro, you guys are sleeping 8 hours. I'm out here on Forex, crypto, grinding, or I'm out here making TikToks on shit. Because like I know eventually I'm gonna get the one thing by making fun of Elliot Sang that's gonna like blow me up, and then everything would have been worth it. And this is where I need to slightly bring up Drake, because I don't know if you like tapped into his Lil Yachty interview.
I only heard about the whole like bowing out gracefully thing, but not anything else.
I literally came on here because I wanted to talk to you about the Anthony Fantano video that he did on it, because that's the shit that made me go back and watch the interview. I don't know how much you still like Anthony Fantano, but basically like that interview with Drake and Yachty like made me realize that I don't know why we let rappers interview rappers. One, we need to stop that. I also don't know why we keep interviewing Drake. What do we expect Drake to say? I don't have any expectations nor inclination to really want to know how Drake thinks. But every time it's forced upon me, I'm like, yeah, this man is Gary Vee. This man, like, this is the man, really a man child. And I love Drake, by the way. I'm a rapper. Like I look up to the nigga. Like if you gave me the
as an artist, like
Drake, right, yeah, like he is who you learn from, personally. But he's clearly a person who was like, yeah, I've done a lot of things in order to be as successful as I am, and I am broken up about it. And
so obviously
I've made myself a new person to deal with all of the sins that I've done to get to be this successful. And
it wasn't
a lot of his right. Like I feel like Drake is even telling us it probably wasn't worth it. But also, he's here now. So I think that's why he's just like, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want, because I already don't like how I got here. So I'm sure as hell gonna have as much amoral fun as I'm gonna have now.
Debauchery, yeah.
Right, and half of his fan base or half of his vocal minority of his fan base is like, yeah, my toxic king. He puts on for how he's being a human, expressing human emotion, and it's not always going to be clean. But then
Right.
the rest of us are kind of like, could you please let go of Rihanna? Could you please go back to therapy, do what you need to do to grow as little as a person?
Take care of your son.
Yeah,
Spend good time with your son. You have so
he
much
said
money.
he said he doesn't even know his son's birthday, and he's proud. He's like, I don't know my son's fucking birthday.
He
That's
said that.
weird. Yeah, he was like, I know it's his counter is like, I know it's for your food, I know what Chelsea's like, but like, I don't have to know his birth, like the day he came out of a
Why
hole
would you admit that on camera?
on camera, and I'm
Why
like,
would you?
you just don't have to say everything,
You just don't
because
have to say
now,
that.
right, because now you're making it
He's
that I
gonna
can log on
live with
Twitter,
that. That kid's
and they
gonna
could be
live
like,
with
hey yo,
that,
y'all
bro.
remember y'all kid's
What?
birthday when you have kids?
Oh my god, bro. Why would he? Drake is. I mean, he's a classic. Like, especially at this point in his life, it's just a straight up, just like you're 36. Like, it's just that meme. It's just that whole thing of like, dude, like he was like, I just want to live like people don't live like rappers anymore. I want to live like like a rap star, like back in. And I was like, it's just so strange. Like, it's, you really watch this duality that's implied, where it's like clearly there's something wrong with this man. Like, there's just clearly like even as he says these things, you're not even like, it's almost obvious that you're not supposed to interpret it as like, yes, Drake, you're correct. You're supposed to be like, oh well, this is something strange. Like, that's
Right, he's
Drake.
clearly going through something. Like he clearly seems hurt. I literally like
Just a
didn't even come on by my own choice.
person.
It's like off the last album. It's like, what did I do wrong or whatever, off of honestly never mind. And the entire hook is like, tell me what or no, I guess it's fuck me. That's the line. That's literally the title of the last song on the album. Like, and it's just like, tell me what did I do wrong? I guess it's fuck me. And I'm listening to it and I'm like, I feel like she could tell you what you did wrong, and you wrote a song about it instead of just actually asking what you did wrong. And that's the point of the song, though, right? That like I can embody that character, if I can go very meta, that I can embody that character because
Yeah.
without self-reporting, I can empathize with having been in that situation once, where it's like, something just happened, you're like, oh, I guess it's fuck me. Or like
Yeah,
being
yeah,
petty.
yeah.
We can all
I
recognize
think
being
everybody's
petty.
had that moment. Like, everybody has those moments of arrogance in their life, and that's where Drake's music comes in, like a thief in the night to steal your identity. Like, that's just
Basically.
what a lot of Drake music really is. It's when you are in that toxic state of mind, it encourages you, and it's there for you. Sometimes you just want to listen to headlines, and just like, and every single album is just dripping with it in every single song. But there came a point in my life, I was a huge Drake, like, not a stan, because there was points early on where I was like, okay, there's something wrong with this guy. Like, Thank Me Later era, it was like, there's something wrong with this guy. But music wise, I was following Drake so hard, and at a certain point, I was just like, I'm too comfortable with myself to listen to this music. Like, I can't enjoy it the same way I used to, because I kind of just like my life and the people around me. I don't know how to deal with it.
I just feel like I'm not that antagonistic to all the people that I love
I'm just
like
not.
anymore. I just feel like everybody. I feel like I don't need music. I don't need villain music, right?
Yeah.
Anymore. And like that is what Drake is. And also, to be fair, if I say that's what Drake is, that's also where rap is, right?
A
At the
lot
end
of
of the
rap,
day,
yeah.
like where like the ethos of rap must be at, because the
Just so insecure. It's just,
yeah,
it's just,
and like let's be real, Drake at the end of the day is probably is I don't know, man, but like Drake is a nice guy who people probably made fun of, and then became that guy, and
oh,
now we all have to suffer.
he
And
is
I do.
like 5 seconds like from a Jordan Peterson feature. Like, that's who he is. Like,
God, oh God, if Drake ever discovers like libertarianism or liberalism,
he's already
if he
on
ever gets
it.
into politics, if he already know, but if he probably didn't even think of it that way, right? He's just like, I'm just trying to make money. I'm just trying to be a billionaire. If he ever discovers theory, oh God, the podcast tour
If
would
he
be
ever discovers
crazy.
Nietzsche, I will never listen to Drake again.
He's
It's
gonna,
just,
he's like, yeah. All,
He's gonna be like, listen.
all my homies stay up at the Lennox bar. We just sit with our lighters reading Karl Marx.
Discussing the Uber Mish. It's just like, whoa, what's
Whole lot
that?
of red we never miss.
Drake.
I need that. I need that done on the. I need the deep fake AI on that one. I need the Marxist.
Do you remember when? Well, Drake will never enjoy Marx, but do you remember when J. Cole was like, "I don't read books"? Do you remember that situation? And
How do you feel about that?
I have to be like J. Cole, like over the past couple of years has like deeply impressed me. It's almost like the opposite of what has happened with Drake, where J. Cole was like always like a really nice guy, but the music wasn't working for me. It's like I want to like you, and then recently the music has like really hit for me. I was like, yes, J. Cole. But there's that period of time where he was, you know, they had that sort of spat with No Name, and he had that thing about the I don't read books, you know, I don't. I don't know much.
Which is just like once again, there are just some things you just don't have
You don't
to
have
say
to
out loud.
say that,
There are
like,
thoughts for your journal.
you could just
That is
listen
why
and
we journal.
respond amicably. You know, like there's just like there's no need to be to have an antagonism. But sometimes the antagonism brings good things out of us. But especially in a situation,
I mean, we
like
got
that,
song
like,
33 out of it, so
yeah,
No Name,
we
so
got some great No Name records. We probably inspired a little J. Cole. You know, that probably inspired that Benny the Butcher feature. You know, like that was, you know, that came out of that dark place he was in, and we thank her for that. But at the same time, I think it's like, I think it's you know, Lupe recently, he's doing, I don't know if you saw Lupe is doing like that rap lecture class at MIT thing.
Yeah. I heard about it.
I watched the full I love watching lectures, so when I saw that come out I was like, and I watched it. It was really dope. And towards the end he was talking about, and Lupe is always a person that's like 80% it's like, oh my god, he's amazing, like he's just saying the most brilliant thing, and then 20% you're like, ugh. Yeah. It's like a 20% Lupe is like, But he did make this point that was interesting to me, where he says like he feels like hip hop is dying, which who hasn't said that in the past 30 years? But he says like he's seen like patterns that are happening with hip hop where there's a sort of a redundancy and a boredom almost that's like giving way to like new, like other forms of expression. And I think maybe if there's something to that, it's the idea of like, obviously like anti-capitalism is becoming some more of a thing. It's eventually going to be a more of a prevalent thing regardless of where you're at in the political spectrum, like left and right. There's going to be an anti-capitalist sentiment everywhere, and just going to be about the solutions, right? But in particular, you know, hip hop is so like rooted in capitalism. Like from day one, it's about, you know, flexing, right, quote unquote,
Right.
talking about what
it's
you
about
have.
about the what's it called, the accumulation of resources and more resources then.
Yeah, it's about accumulation. Yeah, it's about surplus value. Hip hop is about surplus value.
Not the materials analysis of hip hop culture.
Material analysis of hip hop. But like that's part of the thing, and we are also talking about socialist rappers earlier. But like that's sort of the thing that it's becoming a bit bitter. Like when you listen to hip hop now, like there's a reason why Ice Spice is so like fire, like so like hot right now. It's because Ice Spice goes on a song and just seems like she's just having fun. And there's like this kind of meta quality to it where it's like, we know that she's not saying anything revolutionary. We know that she may not, like, we don't know exactly what she's self-aware of and what she's not. She's always seemed smarter than like people give her credit for. But at the same time, she's saying, you know, da and stuff like that. You know, like she's saying exactly, like, yeah. And it's like, you know, she's like this intelligent person, but also everything that she raps is like silly. Like it's just silly. Like her music is just very silly. And when you think about, you contrast that with like the traditional image of like a dope, like a great rapper, there's such a self-seriousness to it that I just think is incompatible with where we're going socially. Because how could you be self-serious about like, I make a lot of money in 2023? Yeah. Like, how could you brag about that self-seriously in 2023? It just doesn't land. You know, unless you're like Jake Paul.
You're bragging about being rich. when your fans are struggling to afford their Spotify subscription, yeah, like it's like, yeah, I think it's a really good analysis actually. That especially using Ice Spice as the example where I do also feel like, yeah, we at least don't, she is not being as bimbofied as other female rappers of her ilk would have been like 5 years ago. And
Right.
like some of that comes from like, I think as someone of the Gen Z crowd, there's like a, what she's saying is so ridiculous. I feel the same way about fucking what's homegirl name? Like Rico Nasty and like people in that camp, where like what they say is so ridiculous, but it's so fun to say
Yeah.
that like that in and of itself is the appreciation of the music. And rap proper, right? Boom bap rap takes a different, like the, it's just like fighting games. It has a different allure to it, which is that like, oh, I want to be able to dissect these philosophical quotes, or I want to be able to like hear this story and I take it as the author's actual life, or like the
Yeah.
author building their own sort of lore. Whereas
Mm.
like, listen, with the rise of trap, with the rise of melodic rap, right, it's more, we're getting back to almost to those rock roots. Whereas like, it's the vibe. This song is supposed to be on at somewhere. The song doesn't exist on itself. It's like we trying to turn up to The Boy's a Liar
Right.
remix featuring Ice Spice, not like use it as our uh not unlike what people would do with J. Cole, not using it as our political process for what we believe in
Right.
life.
It's not like some
Yeah.
sort of thing that we are staking this entire worldview on. It's literally,
Right.
it's almost antithetical to that, where she's not rapping about like production processes and material realities, you
Or
know.
even the man getting her down, or like, you
Yeah, like
know,
she's not rapping, she's not flexing on her audience necessarily. She's literally just like, when you listen to her rap, the narrative of what she's talking about is just like, it's like me and my friends, or it's me and this boy, or this guy, or these guys at the party, or these girls at the party. And none of that is like, it's all just regular relatable social situations. So there's something extremely charismatic about that, especially when you contrast that with like other music that's like, I'm an inherently better human being than you because I have this or I do this. And like, as much as a lot of that is, there's so much great music that can be considered that. I just think it not only is it harder to relate to, but like it feels like less grounded in like a social experience and the reality that everybody's experiencing. Like if it was a lot easier in 2008 to listen to Jay-Z and be like, yeah, like to be like, you know what, I am going to invest in some startup companies, like I like this is, or to just think of yourself as being able to like have this life process that involves a certain way you look at money and a certain investments that you make and certain struggles that you do so that you can make money. Whereas in 2023 we kind of know it's all bullshit for basically 99% of us, and that the only way you sort of get to that level is at this point is by scamming people or by getting lucky or by figuring out some other hustle and sort of making things work here and there.
extorting something or somebody along the way.
We recognize that we see it as so much more political because that's what politics is ultimately, is like securing things, right? And so if the thing is political, then who are these rich guys securing all this stuff from? It's not them. It's not.
Now, we love a little bit of class consciousness in the morning, and I get that's what's happening. Like, it's now that class inequality is like memeable, like people are able to like more pick up the unintentional dog whistles that comes up in our media.
Dog
Because I remember I
whistles.
was oh, this gonna sound like a name drop, but it's not a name drop. But I was talking with CJDX the other day, and
That's your
we
second
were
one, by the way.
discussing like,
Because
is
DJ,
it
because Dr. Fatima counts as well. So
facts? Okay, listen, I just
when
anyway.
I
I
was
feel
talking
exposed.
with God the other day, and
Hey, I'll be like, yo, I was Jesus texted me on a little bit before we got.
deep
But
convos.
what we were talking about is like, what is like, I don't want to keep using Drake, but like, we both know Drake, so I'm gonna keep using him. Like, what is Draft Day about? Right?
By
Like
Drake,
that song. Yeah, like
A
what
Wiggins.
is the song Draft Day about? If you go line by line, it's not really a story. It's just like what you said. It's just I'm better than you. Like if you into the whole thing and just like repeat like what exactly was going on. Like every 4 bars we're going to a new thing, and that's the interesting thing about rap. that's a
Yeah.
little different than like songwriters or like
Yeah.
more pop songwriters. You can just kind of,
Say
you're
things.
allowed to paint impressionistically, right? And
Yeah.
like I'm only really thinking about this because I'm working on a video about music and like what the fuck even is music. But like yeah,
Mm.
like rap is interesting as a genre, and I think the reason why we are entering an age in which is the most popular form is that it's so flexible. Where it's like Ice Spice just says things, right? We rappers just say things, and as we listen to them, we have emotions that are attached to them that like let us know whether or not that's a good bar or not.
Mm.
Most catharsis from rap is from the punchline, not from the punchline's reference to the beginning of the song, but to whatever you're referring literally 2 bars ahead. That's the only thing that needs to make sense. And then
Yeah.
you can keep stacking them like Legos. But ultimately, because of that, right? Like my hypothesis is that like rap grew into this braggadocio center dynamic because we can always get across the feeling that I'm better than you by just posturing and like doing this toasting that is freestyle rapping.
Yeah.
Which is I probably should have a better point to land that on. But yeah, I think that's why those generational wars will continue to exist between me and my barber, to which he's like basically everything but Corday, he's like, it's trash. Anything before 2005 that isn't Corday, he's like, these soft rappers now. Look, y'all listen to that Tyler the creature. You know that
Oh
okay,
dear.
they actually do like West Side Gun, but you know they'll say the thing where it's like, oh, West Side Gun, but he's just another, and then say their person from like the
He's
1990s,
just like
which like
Ghostface, but like different.
right, and like yeah, he's my ghost face, I guess. That's, if you need that to move on, that's fine. Um, but yeah, music's very interesting like that.
Yeah, it's it's brilliant how many people can come up with different perspectives, and that there's people out there with perspectives that value Corday, because I would like to learn from them because I can't see it, but like as a musician. I'm not talking about as a
Listen,
human being, but
Corday, me not liking Corday is how I understand why people don't like J. Cole. Because I do like J. Cole, and I've always liked J. Cole for the
yeah,
reason that I'm a writer rapper. Like he's one of the three kings for the fact that he fills this very dependable, almost like Tim Duncan type spot,
I don't know
right? Where
about
he's like
Tim
he like with
Duncan.
the come.
I'll go
You're
with
not
like
well, like what you're not gonna tell me is that J. Cole has not, except for KOD, has not consistently since like what, like 2010, like he knows how to write a story, he knows how to rap, he knows how to rap over a hip
he's
hop
good
beat.
at rapping.
You know, he's good at rapping. He doesn't bring a lot else to the table, but like the reason why he wins over Big Sean and Wale, all from the same class, right, is I think because yeah, you know, he is rather really good at weaving together narratives and like speaking his very milk toast center black opinion on bars, on his raps, right? Talking about the community, talking about imposter syndrome, talking about student loans. Like he can speak towards that older black millennial POV very well.
Right, right.
And that's why I'm like, that's always when I think about like why the my three kings, right? Which I think these shouldn't really be an argument, but you know, if you're in the hot takes, you can do your hot takes. But everybody knows the three kings are Kendrick, Drake, and Cole.
Of our generation,
Like
yeah.
as far of our generation, right? And the reason why they're the three is because they all get to do something special.
They have their
And
own thing. But
right,
I
and J.
feel
Cole,
like
he's the boring one. He's
But
the
J.
boring one.
Cole's it can't be Tim Duncan, because I just can't, I cannot parallel J. Cole with somebody that won championships. I just can't. I can't parallel. I think J. Cole
He
is
got
somebody.
like 30 people a Grammy
Okay, but
with
like
Revenge of Dreams.
okay, but like it's just not the same type of Grammy though. Like it's just not the same. Like J. Cole is like. I think it just. I mean, it depends on what the parallels are, but like I just feel like what J. Cole's thing was always was that he has extreme. He would have an extreme amount of talent. He had a very very devoted fandom that related to him in a very deep way that went beyond just what he said in the songs, and he was also just seemingly a very nice guy. Very got along with everybody. But
Yeah.
when the music came out, it was like the album was never in your top 10 at the end of the year. That's the way J. Cole was. Like, it was like, okay, like You know, aside from maybe Forest Hills Drive, it was like, okay, Born Sinner was like, oh, cool album. This song was good. This song was good. You're not. I don't think unless you're a coal stand, unless you're a coal miner, you're not
It's not
going
a coal
back.
miner.
If you're not a coal miner, you're not going back and like, let's go, Born Sinner. I'm playing from the top, classics. You know, it's just like, okay.
I'm gonna let you cook on that one. That's fine.
But it's just it's like it's nostalgic, but it's just not like none of the records were like stellar records. They were always just like, oh, this is cool, but like he's great and like a lot of cool things are happening here, but like when you came together, it was just like it was boring because it didn't hit something straight on. It wasn't sharp.
Crooked Smile wasn't a classic though.
Crooked Smile was a
on my way
records,
down.
He had records on the albums, but the albums overall were not like hitting like that. Do you understand? Like it was like Crooked Smile, really good song. I really liked Power Trip. I really liked
Forbidden Fruit. Like
no.
even Ain't That Shit on the interlude.
No,
you didn't like Forbidden Fruit, but because you saw Kendrick on there, you were expecting a rap.
Everybody
You were
was
like,
expecting him to
what?
rap, but I also just didn't think it was that good of a song either. You know, like
And
it's Kendrick
like
not
I said,
rapping and it's that sample. It's like, oh, see, I'm
gonna let you cook on it. I'm gonna let you have your opinion on it because I get it. Because you're right, I don't go back to all my correct opinions about it. I will say I don't go back. I don't go back to Born Center as much as I go back to like Forest Hill Drive. You're wild for not talking about For Your Eyes Only, which is a damn near perfect album actually.
I can't go there with you, man. I just can't do it.
With For Your Eyes Only, oh, now you're making me bring up For Your Eyes Only track list because like
nah, it has some great
like
shit
Bill Illuminati as an opener.
Illuminati
is crazy, and my
Immortal
bias
is the one.
is that on For Your Eyes Only, yeah.
For Your Eyes Only.
My bias comes from the fact I always remember it as the album that competed with Yeezus. Like he moved up a Born
That's
Sinner.
Right. He was like, I'm gonna drop the same day as Yeezus.
Yeah,
like
and
50
like
Cent
he did,
style.
and he did beat Yeezus that week.
Yeah, he did okay. He did pretty good.
And I was like, I don't until I say that to be candid, to be like, all right, you know what? I'm probably anchoring from the fact that I was a big Kanye and Cole fan at the time. And I felt that, like, yeah, it was. Some people will go ahead and come back at me and say that, like, you know, go back to Yeezus now. Like, you know, it predicted the future. Like, it actually was a pretty good experimental, like, noise album, which, like, I guess. But yeah, I would rather listen to Born Sinner.
I would
like,
rather
Born
not
Sinner
listen to either of them. Freddie Gormick.
You're wild
Smith,
for that, man. I'm not going.
Freddie Gormick Smith has asked where we would recommend starting with Kendrick Lamar. I will give my anecdote about, since we're talking about the greats and we just talked about Cole and Drake. I will say for one, like it's a good pivot into Kendrick. I was early on Kendrick. I don't know how early you were on Kendrick. I was early. How
early?
I was the first. Well, in truth, the first Kendrick song I came across was Michael Jordan. The first Kendrick song.
Okay. So
overly dedicated, yeah. Like post overly dedicated, pre Section 80. My song was "Cut You Off" was the one I was like, oh, this guy's good. I really like. There's something unique here. That song still an irreplicable song. And I was like, this guy's great. And I remember like a few months later, from when I had heard that song, he dropped Section 80, and I was like. And that was the big like bomb dropped, everything changed, etc. moment in hip hop. I still think Section 80, like you can't go wrong with Section 80. Like, you can't go wrong starting with Section 80. It wouldn't be my personal go-to for like the first one, but especially because of how like it kind of just shows you a lot of like it's more accessible a little bit in some ways, because it's like if you like hip hop, Section 80, you just there's nothing about it that you'll dislike. It's just gonna hit, and it's gonna hit perfectly for you. And it's a very rawer, younger Kendrick, comparatively to the later records. But I would say if it's not Section 80, then probably like Good Kid, Mad City, one of those two, because it's like those are very good starter albums. I mean, it's a reason that they came earlier in his album pack too. It's like. Oh, and damn. I mean, that's tough.
No, I feel, or not no, like, yeah, there's like, you could, obviously, Kendrick run a fucking Pulitzer. You can start wherever you want with the man, but to trade stories with Elliot, because it's weird that I feel like a lot of people remember the first Kendrick Lamar song that they heard, and I can't say that for like the other two people for real, but I do remember the first Kendrick Lamar that I like heard and I like loved was also on already dedicated the part 4, and I'll never fucking forget. Hard part or was that part 4
3?
Part 2 part 2
Part 2 part 3 was after Good Kid, Mad City.
Yeah. And I forget I was on the cheese bus like coming from what that's 2012ish, so like high schoolish. Like right, my friend at the time, one of my good friends who always sat next to on the bus, Kevin Carter, was like, hey, on the MP3 player, was like, hey yo, like, do you know Kendrick Lamar? And I think it was like K Dot. I was like, I feel like I might have heard of him. I probably at the time, this probably when Recipe might have been like, no, well, it's overly dedicated, so I wouldn't have. But they were like, this song's super hot. And I was like, all right, yo, like play it to me. We shared earphones. He played the Heart Part 2. I was like, yo, who the fuck is this? Like
Never
this song, like especially when he goes
like
double
that.
time
Ever
on the last bar.
His
I'm
voice
like,
is cracking.
what?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, that's what I was like, yo, that's different. And then from there, then I did Section 80, and then I was just along for the ride. Like especially like from Section 80, like the things that I ran back over and over once again for y'all that don't know, like wasn't even on the iPhone, on the iPod Touch, iPod Nano.
We didn't used to call people on our iPods, okay?
I couldn't do that. Or I mean, you had the kick, you know. You could use a little email, but
it's kick.
It was ADHD and then Ronald Reagan era. Like I ran those into the ground.
Oh my god, ADHD is just
right.
Rigor mortis was.
So actually, now that we talk about it, rigor mortis
was
like, you're not the same after you listen to rigor mortis, because you're like, I didn't know we was really rapping like that out here. Like
every single like he has so many records during that time. Look out for Detox was a big one too. That fucking video too, where he's in that dark thing and he's going over that Childish Gambino beat. And he's fucking. Oh, yeah. He would just have this way where he would go. It wasn't just how fast. It wasn't that he was just rapping super fast, but he was fast. And it wasn't just that he was rapping emotional, but he was emotional. And it wasn't just that he was lyrical. It was like there's just this unique thing that was like, that's Kendrick. Like there's nobody else that can ever do that. The way that he's putting words together, the unique story that he's telling every time that he's rapping, the way that he brags, the way that he talks about his background, the way that he shits on people, like. It's just it's like, what? Like you could like do that? Like it felt like watching somebody from a different genre turn into a hip hop artist. Like
you enjoy when you can see I enjoy when I can see the craft in an artist, right? The thing that makes Kendrick kind of similar to Saba too, right? Is that they are clearly like students of rap in the way that you don't even think about what makes your favorite rapper a good rapper until you start to actually like train, or you start to like actually start to make it too. Right. Exactly. I think a lot about how like in interviews, a lot more rappers like Smino and Saba are like, yo, I work on breath work. Like I be rapping shit and I have to and I write in my bars when I gotta take a breath, because you don't like we be forgetting now that everybody blows up on SoundCloud or digitally and they don't have to do a concert. It's like, yo, you have to be able to spit, make sure you sound as close to album quality on the stage. And like part of rapping is being able to speak fast, but also clearly, as like people have to catch up with their words. And that's something that Kendrick had in spades. To quickly answer the question, because I realized I didn't. Like, I honestly would start with Good Kid, Mad City, because that's just like, that's an iconic album.
It's iconic,
and it's an album where it's like, right, you're going to have a good time. And like, if you want an entry point in which you're like, I know I'm going to have a good time listening to this, that's going to be Good Kid, Mad City, no matter where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But then if you like more of the if you like more of the slow, if you like it, if you want more
abstract
jazz
and jazz influence,
then
conceptual,
then go ahead to Section 80, like for that.
Or I was gonna say the Pimp a Butterfly if you're the jazz. When you mentioned jazz, because that's basically a jazz album.
Well, I was gonna say if you want actually, so let's call it like more like
he has a
old school hip hop jazz influence. You go to Section 80. If you want something more experimental jazz, then you go to Pimp a Butterfly. And high-key, if you just don't care, I guess go to Damn. Apparently, a lot of people that wouldn't be regular Kendrick fans seem to like Damn.
Yeah.
My hot take, like, I don't really like Damn like that. Like, I don't go back to Damn as much as I go back. Like, it's a good project, right? It fits together, but the songs don't hold as much emotional weight for me the way that To Pimp a Butterfly, Good Kid, even Untitled Master has.
I go back to Damn a lot because of the engineering on that record. It's just fucking ridiculous.
I feel that, yeah.
I don't. I'm the only guy that listens to music and is like nerdy about the engine. Like I'm like the mix of this is
He says talking
insane.
to a producer.
I know. I'm saying like but that's the thing is like we are people who like we've produced, we've engineered, not necessarily like a high level. You know, I'm not gonna say I'm a professional on that level, but like, yeah, I've made so much music. I've written so many raps. I've written so many records. I've engineered like myself so much, and I've mixed stuff horribly and produced so many beats. And like, when you do that, you know who's who. Like when you're in that situation, it's like it's almost like when you're coming up. Like I hate using that phrase because it makes me sound like I did something important in my childhood. But like when you were coming up and you were learning and you were rapping and you were trying to rap, there was just like that showed you like who were the guys. Like it showed you exactly like how to appreciate everything for what it was because you realized how difficult it was. Whereas most people who are just fans, they have no appreciation for it because, you know, if something doesn't fit with their taste, they can just say it's bad or they can just say it's not for them. But for when you're coming, like when you're actually trying to do it and you actually are like, I need to learn how to rap, I need to learn about this craft or whatever. You're sitting there and you're looking at like Kendrick and you're like, what the fuck? And you're copying shit from him. And you're looking at Drake and you're copying shit from him subconsciously half the time because he was so fucking pervasive. I don't know if you're well, yeah, people are copying J. Cole. You were copying also like for me it was like Royce the 5'9" I was copying a lot, and fucking lyricist ass dudes. You know, obviously Doom was in that category. And you realize each and every one of these guys, and you realize the less lyrical guys too. Like I remember when that transition started happening, where you know more and more serious publications and you know just general hip hop community stuff was opening itself up to the idea that like you know trap music can actually be good and artistic, right? And it was this whole thing about it was centered on Young Thug, and then there was that season when Migos fucking took over the culture. That fucking it was the triplet flow first, but then I remember the culture era when they started dropping those singles, and it was Call Casting.
That Versace era or
no? This is the culture era. So like Bad and Bougie to T-shirt with fucking that shit, and you looking at it, you're like, this is so different from like especially like the conventional like this is dope rapping whatever, like this is so different stylistically, subject matter wise, but this is it, and you know it because you know what it's like to do the thing. So when you see Takeoff, like rest in peace, when you saw Takeoff do this shit, you're like, that's special. I don't know what people are talking about. Like I don't know what these people who don't rap are talking about. That shit is crazy. What Young Thug just did on Check was crazy, you know.
Right.
On Danny Glover was like, I
still go through feelings like that too, and like I feel like it's important that like even though you can't tell everybody to like continue to chase that feeling because that's how you end. If you don't, you end up becoming my barber who doesn't listen to anything past 2005 anymore.
Which
right.
Is the thing,
but it's like I just gave Playboy Cardi a chance because like I'm on that cusp where like I didn't get the memo about Playboy Cardi and tried to tap in and I wasn't ready for it. But like I just heard some shit off a whole lot of Red. And like, yes, as a person who like tries to make it, I'm like, actually, this shit, like the shit that he's doing is crazy.
It's crazy.
Right? Like like if I talk to some people that are my age that don't listen to them, like it's just all mumble. Like he's like the producer's doing all the work, he's doing nothing.
They don't
like
care anymore.
Bro, his top line is like people can't think melodies are so hard to come with.
All
like
I do is top line now. Like all I do.
Yeah, right. Like if I would have known, I think I actually did find out once because I went. Fun fact about me. I went to art school for high school. But like I didn't do art school. I was in the business program. But if I would have known at the time, like that top lining was like a profession you could finesse yourself into, I would have been like, fuck this songwriting shit. Let's be real. I rap, I produce, I like storytell, all because I just like the sound of my own voice and I like the little melodies I make up. If I could just be paid for that and not the extra brain work to make it make sense,
Yeah.
Like that's my favorite part of music, and it goes to this bigger conversation I often have with like we could push this conversation all the way out to Smino, right? Like from Thug all the way out to Smino. This idea of like I went to a Smino concert in DC once at a college campus, and I felt like I was the only person who knew all the words to Amphetamine and all the words to Anita, like the resident, because he raps so fast, and like no, I realized like I don't know how many people are like trying to pick up what he's saying, and it doesn't. But then I'm like, it doesn't matter because Smino's voice is probably more accurately described as like a trumpet than it is like a lead guitar or like a voice, right? The way he plays with inflection, melody, and his own tone, right, is what makes it crazy. The first time you ever hear a Smino record, you're like, wait, is that what his voice really sound like though? Is he doing all those sound effects? Is that him at real speed? And it makes me realize that like we need to get over. And you know, as I got into like KR&B, I'm mad I missed the latter end of that conversation. You guys were talking about it, right? But like, you know, when I went through my big KR&B phase, like back in like 2019, 2018, I quickly got over the needing to know what people were saying.
Yeah.
And like you get a good appreciation for like, nah, just like the way you be saying that shit, just the way that I'm able to hum it back is truly what I'm looking for out of my music.
Yeah.
I don't actually need to necessarily know what's being said in order to like get, like, keeping the word catharsis, but like the best way to put it, right? Catharsis out of it. And from there, you realize just how hard music is. I feel like I don't know like how ever serious you took you became a student of the game of rap, right? But I recently had my brain broken when I finally understood. I'm sorry, child. I'm like y'all probably don't even rap. You don't give a fuck about this. But Elliot Mike, so I'm
go for it.
Rapping on the two. When I finally understood on the two, like the
idea of rapping on the snare,
on different beats,
like on the back, right? On the downbeat.
That's why Drake sounds the way he be sounding. He's really perfected rapping on the two, letting the kick hit first, and like getting in like half bar measures. So he's able to speak really clearly, but he also gets all his lines, like his quotables, and he can do that. And he learns.
Yeah, that's like huge. I mean, it was that, and it was the way that he was always like 40 was always like dropping out everything that was mid-range, high range out of the beat. So you used to get those beats. But part of what that did was it allowed Drake to have this huge like soundscape behind him, like that wasn't interfering with his vocal. That wasn't cutting his vocals at all. His cut vocals are the only thing that cut through. And he would, I remember the original Drake flow, but back when he was doing this, was like the shit would come in. It was like, but da na no.
Right, and he picked that up from Jay-Z.
Yeah, well, Jay.
If you listen to Old Kingdom Come Jay-Z, like, or Blueprint Jay-Z, I remember I was in the car one day and I was like, wait, this is just Thank Me Later Drake. And that's what, because I'm not like a Jay-Z fan, right? I don't like go deep in the catalog, but I realized like that's just an age thing. Like if I was 5 years older, I would be on Jay-Z the way that I'm on Drake, as far as like a person who I'm like, oh, I really admire, right, like artistically.
Exactly.
But like this idea where one of my friends who is also a rapper and also a really good like fantasy writer was like, I count beats, because like he grew up like in like that freestyle, that slam poet way, and he's like, like I know where the 2 and the 4 are. I know like how long I have until I need to get to my next word, and like that's where all flows come from. That's what is controlling the flow. When you come back in, are you coming back on the 1, or are you giving more space to come back on the 2? That fundamentally change like the options that are available to you. I wouldn't even say you don't think about this as a rapper, because you kind of do, because it's like I have like an innate sense. Right, I have an innate sense after like 4 beats and like I probably want another word. I want another flow than what I'm doing, or I'm bored. But it's the understanding of that, right, that gives you such an appreciation for when you see Nicki Minaj switch 3 flows in a song. Because you know why she did it, and also how hard it is to do that. And if you have a sickness called creativity, it then makes you like want to say like, oh, I can do that.
You experiment with it. I mean, that's part of how you learn of something, is you deconstruct it and you interrogate it and you go, let me try to do this. You try to. It's like people who learn how to engineer or learn how to like be mechanics. They take things apart and they bring them back together again. You do that when you're an artist. When you're a rapper, you do that with rap, where it's like, how did like I used to. That was one of my favorite things to do. It still is. It's like, imitation. I just love imitating. I love doing impressions. I used to do these impressions where I would do like a 8 minute, 9 minute long like record where I would pretend to be 8 different rappers, and I would be like, well, Snoop Dogg would come in like this, and then if I had this like Yellow Wolf on here or whatever.
Not Yellow Wolf. Oh
Not
my
Yellow
god,
Wolf.
that's such a throwback.
Yellow.
Not Yellow Wolf. I did fuck with Yellow Wolf back in the day, but
Yellow
I just haven't
was
heard that
dope.
name in years.
And also, it's such a thing that only a
Dumbfounded?
2012 Dumbfounded was big for me too. When Dumbfounded hit the Dumbfounded hit the Asian American community like a plague. When that Dumbfounded versus Tantrum battle came out, things changed for us. But like even then, like I would imitate because partially it was fascinating to me just to learn how it was happening and being able to be, oh, it happens like this. And when you like, if you just have the curiosity to do it, you can pick it up. It's just that most people, it's like, it's not interesting. But for me, like picking those, like just hearing people talk about music was like interesting to me. There's a podcast called Pensado's Place where they interview engineers all the time, producers. And I was like, I mean, I don't know half of the records that they're talking about, but like, I'm interested to hear like, what was that process when you made that one Prince record or that one like pop record for the 2000s? Like when I see these people, like when I see these interviews happen between rappers or interviews happen in general, it's like, I would want to ask Drake about Ninth Wonder. Like, I want to ask Drake, like, so tell me about that Little Brother, like what Little Brother did for you. Which record was it off of the minstrel show? Like, which record was it here? And like, which, and then talk about, so what did you do with your cadence here? And motherfuckers would probably be bored. Like, he would probably be like, why are you asking me these questions? But like, he would probably at the same time like have so much, like musicians get so nerdy about it, and I love nerdy shit. Like,
exactly. And I really wish there was I mean, that's something to I guess create, right? And that's, I have heard of like Pensado's Place. Same thing with like the Rick Rubin joint with Malcolm Gladwell, that one too. I don't you ever find it interesting how rare it is for us to find places where we just talk about how we make things?
I'm saying,
especially with music, because I'm constantly a person who's like looking up like how does a person write their songs, because that just seems interesting, right? It's like, how do you the only footage we've ever seen is Drake on the BlackBerry, and like, but now I want to know, like, okay, so is Drake starting off with the BlackBerry, and then maybe he's also good at freestyling at a certain point? Does he write a bunch and then is just really able to match tempo quickly across a lot of beats? Like, how you're really good at writing. How did you do that? And some of it comes from the fact that like a lot of artists like are insecure about their process, because like it tend to be very chaotic. I know my process is very chaotic.
Mine is.
So it doesn't read well. Because I remember I heard like people asking Andre that one time when he was doing interviews, like, yeah, how do you do that? He's like, man, I can't even really play piano. Like the Hey Ya beat, I learned that chord. I learned those chords just for the Hey Ya beat, and I never touched the piano again. And I don't like that we feel like that's not helpful, because it's real. Like, so then at least now I know that my process is probably as good as like my favorite artist process.
Yeah.
Because they also don't have one.
That's the shit that like, people need to understand. They think that everybody's like this mad genius that just knows everything in their laboratory and then just concocts things out of. No, it's like 17 different failures that happen, and then that one success happens, and then people define you by it for like generations. But like, in between that was just a bunch of just fucking around, and that's ultimately what
finding out.
What fucking around and finding out. Ultimately, that's what, like, there's nothing cooler than like when you hear somebody come up with a new flow, like, quote unquote, like there's almost no territory left, right, for like rap flows, because there's so many different rappers that have explored so many different styles.
Which is why Lupe had to go to MIT.
Which is why Lupe is like, listen, we gotta teach people. But like, I remember even when that whole when that Vice City record came out with Black Hippie, and Kendrick was like, I'm inventing a new flow. This is the new flow. It was like the stutter thing, the da-da-da-da. And I was and I was like, this is cool. Like they're so conscious, like not even conscious, but like they're like so straightforward. Like they're so open about like we're conscious of these elements and this is what we're gonna do, right? Like I like that. I like it when people are showing the strings. Like I like when people are like, I'm interested in this nerdy shit and this is what we're gonna try to do here. I don't like it when people act like everything is so mystical. um like there's mystical things in life, but those things come out when you focus on the things that you actually know. But when you are always trying to act like, oh, why isn't this magical thing happening to me, it's like, it's not going to. Like you just let it. You have to just let it happen. The magical song comes around, and then that's why it's magical, because you can't define it. You can't capture it. You know.
You have to accept that it's the magic you see. The magic you seek is far more boring than you're fantasizing it in your head. You ever? Yeah, I guess you ever
it's
feel,
just all you're living
like
in
that?
fantasies. Yeah, you're living in
Right.
like,
It's like you think it's I'm gonna more hunker down on what you're saying about like what people want their music to feel like, either a secret how they made it, or people want to just be surprised
yeah,
about how music gets made. Like Taylor Swift definitely just sat in her room and made 1989 all by herself, and it just came from her, and that's why it sounds so good.
yeah,
And I don't like when I don't like when artists play into that, only because personally, right, I feel like it says you don't trust me as an audience member.
yeah,
You don't think if you don't think I'm interested enough in what you're trying to say, that if you pulled away all of the artifice, I'd be like, oh, it's just a song about a girl.
yeah.
Wow, this guy was just trying to get sympathy. I'm like, no, I think like more people than just us weirdos, when you start telling them about how you got to certain things,
Oh my god,
it
people love
humanizes it in
that
a certain
shit.
way, right? People love that's exactly why we have those fucking even 73 questions on the Vogue thing, but also we have
Those
fucking rhythm roulette, or like
rhythm
fucking like
roulettes, behind the
NPR
beats.
desk.
The
Yeah,
Bad
like
Bunny
people.
Calladita one with Tiny, like these get millions of views, where it's just like producers that are like nerdily explaining for 20 minutes, this is how we got to this thing. People love that. People love it. People love it, and people don't like being lied to, and they don't like the dishonesty, and they don't this is something that I'm interested in sort of talking about when it comes to I don't remember if anybody responded in the chat, but I mentioned earlier how I'm thinking about doing a video sort of about commentary videos, and about like sort of related to advice for people who want to do commentary videos and build a channel and stuff. Because I kind of want to just let people have like an open view in the process, that's not like, here's a perfect list, or like, here is a beautiful piece of advice that's going to resonate. Like I recognize that on one hand, people are very cynical, rightfully so, of like the YouTube advice stuff and the algorithm advice stuff. But I also think that there's something very unhelpful about people being like, well, it's just mad, like it's just luck, it's all just luck, and there's nothing involved. Like I just got really lucky, and I can't have any advice for how to do anything on YouTube. It's like, that's bullshit. Like there's things you can do that can increase like your success dependent on your situation. It's just knowing how to give the advice versus acting like there's a silver bullet for something.
I
And
think like oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I think like at a minimum, on your side of things, right, it's at least helpful to be like, it I worked to, or there's a mindset shift you can make to make the grind of doing all these videos until you get a hit more bearable.
Yeah,
That's the biggest thing that I've
exactly.
been more talking about, like, because people will come up to me and ask me like, okay, like what's good, because I'm so early, so they're like, yeah, like, yo, what did you just do? And I'm like, I feel bad that I can't tell you anymore, because when I was like at 2K, at 1K, I was like, nah, the moment it happens, I'm gonna write it down, I'm gonna do a whole video essay to like uncover that way, they're keeping it from us. And I'm like, no, it was along the way I kept being told, bro, just keep going, by people that I respected. They were just like, just keep making videos. I like them. I think people will eventually like them. And then boom, you get a 20K. You might not get a 20K, but boom, you get a video that Elliot Saying likes with 50K. And then they're like, hey guys, look at this cool little video. It only got 100
Yeah,
views. And like from there, if this is something you want to do, I think that validation is enough to get you to the next video. Because you're kind of like, okay, I feel validated in the space. That's the biggest thing about this. I
yeah,
constantly wonder like how many people want to be video essayist, but don't but think it's very hard to get friends out here. Like we're all just not lonely nerds who turn on webcams to talk to one another.
Yeah.
And like the idea, I was talking to a smaller YouTuber who was like, yeah, like YouTube should make it so you should be able to be like Mr. Beast and by yourself just get 1 billion subscribers. And I'm like, I disagree. I think it is indicative of our world that it's easier if you're not a person of color to just like rise up out of nowhere with like no community whatsoever. But personally, I prefer the way that I've been thrusted into YouTube. That
Right.
like I feel like a lot of my success is dependent, not dependent per se, but it's accelerated by me being friendly enough to be like, man, I really like your stuff. Let me hit you up on Twitter and like, I don't even got shit I want to talk about. I just really want to tell you that I like your stuff. And that if you like my stuff, we could like do something together. That like community building in and of itself is something that can be turned into practical value later on.
Yeah.
In a way that like just making stuff for the algorithm isn't going to do for you. Because
Right.
that's how you end up with people that like start making YouTube videos about YouTube. And therefore their entire existence on YouTube is like how to do YouTube.
Yeah, meta. Like it's an unfortunate sort of paradox that's like, there's so many people that want to make it on YouTube, but nobody really thinks about what that means. Like, what is it making it? If I have 50,000 more subscribers and I get 100K subscribers, does that mean I made it versus 50K? What are the contingent variables? For me, if I'm at a place where I'm able to do it full time and make a good amount of money so that I can go travel and maybe eventually, own stuff, like that would be it. Like as far as career wise, as far as the art wise, I'm always a success, right? Like it's always successful because it happens. It doesn't have to happen perfectly. It doesn't have to get a certain reception. It is what it is. When it came to the community aspect of like BreadTube or not BreadTube, I don't know if I'm considered BreadTube. I don't know if I'm considered anything. I think people just see my videos.
Dude, BreadTube is so fake. I say it
it's
only
just
as
like a
jokes.
nebulous thing.
I don't even
right?
like the term. Yeah, it's just not creepy guy too.
Yeah, it's just
Not
dudes who are
not whack
lefty-ish.
opinions YouTube.
Yeah, I think whatever I'm considered, like I never had an expectation that I would make really community. Like I didn't go into it thinking like, I really want to make friends. I kind of went into it thinking like, I'm open to whatever happens, but I need to do something. Like that was me. I was like, I'm gonna put out these videos every week, and I don't know who's gonna say hello. I find that it can be a bit dangerous when you are sort of on the outside looking in, thinking, oh, I would really like to have this clout, or I would really like to be a part of this friend group, or to have this level of attention on me. It's like I have been through enough to know that if you wish for something like that, one day you get it and it's not what you think it is. And what I would rather do is like, what I know is to be true is when you put things out there, something happens. It may be that you get 20 views, but somebody saw your video that becomes a friend of yours. It may be that you get 1 million views, but you get a lot of negativity in your life that really affects your psychic health. You can't put a judgment on it. You can't put a price on it. You can't say like this is perfect, this is not perfect. What matters is that you did the thing, and then whatever happened after that was completely out of your control. And so if I know that, then I know that my job is to do the best thing that I can do. So if I know that having an interesting title and a thumbnail that looks a certain way is going to get more views potentially, then maybe I'll try it so that I'll see how it works. I'll give it my best shot. If I know that talking about a certain subject would be more fun, then maybe I'll try it. Or if I know that this week I don't really care about the views, I just want to talk about something else. Like, I'm just present. And if you're not present, none of it matters. None of it matters.
Right.
And that's what it comes down to. And that's a perfect place that we should end, because it's 11 o'clock over here and I'm sleepy. And I have work in the morning.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
But we're having
no, this is a great thing. Thank you for the impromptu, for letting me crash your stream. That was a great conversation.
Thank you for reaching out and asking. I was stunned. I was like, oh, well, that's a good idea. And I was happy that this happened because we had a great conversation. And we'll have another one
Patreon?
soon. I don't. I have a Ko-Fi though.
Go ahead and donate to my man Elliot Ko-Fi.
It's fine. It's
make sure
fine.
y'all hit that bell for notifications.
Yeah.
Shout out to y'all that liking the stream. I do like the numbers
Fuck
over
that. Go
95.
subscribe to Color Mine, bro. Color Mine is this upcoming. You're gonna wish you get to tell people the way that I knew of Kendrick Lamar early on. You're gonna wish that you would be able to say I was early to the Color Mine movement. I saw it when he was at. How many subs are you at now?
4.5K. Listen,
Four and a half. Listen. When he's at 400 million K, what you're gonna get is nothing but regret for not having subscribed now. So make sure you support and turn on the notifications.
When I go Mr. Beast and solve 100 people's deafness,
Yeah.
you'll be like, to be honest, they'll be like, I knew something was wrong with them at 4.5K.
Yeah. They're gonna be like, this motherfucker was not in it for the right reasons. And we're gonna, quiet as kept. We're in a thing. Both of us, we're in a thing that's gonna come out early next week. So,
oh, you're in the thing.
I'm in a thing. You saw it?
Oh, okay.
I saw it.
Yeah, I was watching it on Patreon right now because I know the early cut is on Patreon.
I'm in it.
Yeah, they have no idea. Yeah, it's a
thing.
I enjoyed the conversation I have, so I can't wait to see how it came up.
Yeah, I had a great conversation as well. So, all right. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Good night, y'all. Peace and love.